Hello once again, and welcome to Red Devils football on Radio Troy Digital Sports tonight, live from Leibold Field here in Richmond. It is the semifinal Sectional 22 as the Pioneers of Mooresville coming in at 9-1, and the host Red Devils at 2-8. Welcome to the Farm Beer Insurance with Kevin Shear pregame show. Richmond coming off a win last week as they knocked off Connorsville. Mooresville beat Beech Grove 49-21. It was a big night for Wyatt Bird. He scored 4 touchdowns and over 200 yards rushing. And for Mooresville last week, their quarterback Carson Goodman, 174 yards and 3 touchdowns. James Mabry, 87 yards on the ground and 2 scores. I'm Troy Daragowski along with Brendan Evans. It is the semifinals, Brendan. It is another nasty night when it comes to weather. We should be used to it by now. It appears that just about every night that we're playing, it's a nasty night in high school football, but it's also a great opportunity for this Red Devil football team to perhaps pick up a win tonight, which I guarantee it's not going to be easy. They're going to have to almost play perfect football this evening.
Right. We've been playing against the numbers all year. It's not changing again tonight. They should be used to it. Hopefully they can. This week during practice, they did plan for that, and they did prepare for it.
Well, this is a Mooresville football team that is about as balanced of a football team as we will see. Now, the one player who will not play tonight is James Mabry, 1,350 yards and 24 touchdowns. Had a couple of scores last week. He will not be in the lineup tonight, but at least looks like they have enough players in their depth department. They'll fill in for him rather nicely, may not miss a beat at all.
Right. I know Richmond had some injuries that they filled in comfortably, and they trusted them players, and I feel like that Mooresville can do the exact same thing. We look on the field, and they have quite a few players lining up on the 45 to the 50-yard line, and I feel like if they can get it under control, they'll be just fine. Wyatt
Bird last week over 200 yards. He did not practice on Wednesday of this week, but he was back again later in the week. May have been just a precaution from a standpoint of his Achilles. I think he's okay, and not maybe 100%, but he's about as close as you're going to get. Red Devils will need another great performance out of him again tonight.
Right. I know I was here Tuesday, and he wasn't in practice either, so maybe I don't know if that was 2 days he missed or if it was the same day that we're just missing a day or whatever. But that could play a factor in the run game tonight, whether they have Wyatt in the whole game or whether they put Wyatt in some, put DeMarco in some, put Aquavion Allen in some. Those are all 3 very talented running backs. Obviously, Wyatt being your go-to guy, your starter, but maybe putting in some other guys who have been at practice all week or a little bit more conditioned, because if Wyatt didn't practice all week, then that's going to take a toll.
Of course, another factor last week for Richmond was their ability to run the football, and that came with the guys up front. I think they had a really, really nice game when you talk about from tackle to tackle, dominated the line of scrimmage pretty much on both sides of the football. Now, tonight they'll be up against a Mooresville, both offensive and defensive line, that has a lot of size, and Zach Richards will be a guy to watch, only a sophomore, 6'4", 295 pounds. Somehow the Red Devils will have to contain him, and he's one of the best run blockers. When you hear Tony Lewis talk, that he is seen as a sophomore in a long time.
I know that Richmond has prepared for that. I was at practice on Tuesday and Thursday. That was a big thing that they focused on, in my opinion. From what I saw, that's what they were preparing for from a spectator standpoint. But I think they're ready for it, and they're going to give it all they got, even if they aren't.
By the way, Carson Goodmore, we're going to talk a little more about him in our scouting report. This guy can throw the football. We're watching him right now as he is getting his offense in their final reps here in pregame. And again, his number is very impressive, and we'll talk about him coming up in just a few moments. Do not go away. When we come back on the Farm Beer Insurance with Kevin Shear pregame show, we will hear from Tony Lewis, get his thoughts about last week's win, and he knows that tonight Red Devils will have to play extremely well to advance to the championship next week. We'll do that coming up in just a few moments right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.
It's the geometry teacher who mans the ticket window.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.
It's the accountants and salesmen and store managers who give up their Friday evenings to referee.
It's the graduate who listens to the league championship game on the internet.
It's the parent who sells ads in the school athletic program.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
It's the trainers, equipment managers, and ball boys who never miss a practice.
What makes high school sports here in Indiana so special? They do.
You do.
We all do.
High school sports. It's the we that every community needs. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Indiana Football Hall of Fame in Richmond, Indiana was founded in 1973. Its mission is to honor the men and women who have excelled in high school, college, or professional football based on their coaching, athletic ability, citizenship, scholarship, and significant supporting contributions to the game of football. The Indiana Football Hall of Fame includes retrospection from Indiana's prestigious football history, from the late 1800s to the present. When you visit the hall, you'll see the names like Weeview Bank, Vegas Ferguson, Newt Rockne, and Lamar Lundy. The Indiana Football Hall of Fame is located at 815 North A Street in Richmond and is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. There is no entrance fee and donations are appreciated. Take time to visit Indiana football history at the Indiana Football Hall of Fame.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Indiana. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It begins by making their grades and being on time for practice. It includes learning to listen, following directions, accepting responsibility, being a good role model. And it's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. High school sports. There's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Hey, honey, is this your course schedule for the fall?
Yep.
Let me see here. English, good. Chemistry, trigonometry, excellent. World history, I love world history. Baseball? Wait, baseball? Baseball isn't a course, honey.
Well, sure it is, Mom. High school sports are about so much more than winning and losing. They teach lessons that can't be taught in a classroom, like accountability and self-discipline, the value of teamwork. I may not be earning a grade, but I'm learning how to compete later in life. Isn't that what getting a good education is all about?
Yes, of course it is. I was just testing you.
What can teenagers here in Indiana learn from participating in high school sports? Plenty, as it turns out. That's why they're called education-based athletics.
High school sports. There's so much more than just a game.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Coach, week 2 now, the playoffs. If you wouldn't mind, before we talk about Mooresville, go back to last Friday in a game that I think you dominated in most areas of the football game, and it really came out with a solid win.
It was a good win for us. The game was probably closer than the score indicated at the end. It was a close game all the way probably late into the third quarter, and then we had a big screen pass to Julian. He took it 70 to 80 yards and scored a big touchdown to kind of give us a little breathing room. You could kind of feel the air go out of their sideline on that play. We were able to score a couple more times there, and thought our defense played extremely well. We made some, again, mental mistakes in terms of penalties, but overall our kids played hard, and it was a good win for us.
You go to your offensive line, opening up some huge holes, and, of course, Wyatt had the big day for you.
He did. He had a great day for us. I think he had 4 touchdowns and over 200 yards, and a lot of that credit goes, as you said, to our offensive line, and we were in a too tight set, so that some of that credit as well goes to Bryce Brown and also to Branton Thomas as well. So those guys, all of them up front, blocked well. Wyatt ran hard. It was good to have him back, and then we made a few catches in the passing game, and then defensively we gave up the 1 touchdown at the end of the half on a bad snap on our punt team, gave them short field, and then other than that we held them in check.
Coach, talk about your preparations this week, and generally when we talk about a new week, it comes down to how you practice throughout the week. How's your team done so far as you get ready for Mooresville?
So far it's been a pretty good week of practice. We've had a few kids sick with the flu, some starters that have been out. We had a starter out on Monday, a starter out on Tuesday, a starter out yesterday. We're hoping to have all of them today, but the flu's kind of going around here in school. Obviously, our teachers are getting free flu shots, and our kids obviously needed the flu shot a little while ago. But overall, it's been a good week working through those, and obviously the numbers situation. We're practicing with between 26 and 30 kids, depending on our sickness level and injury level. But overall, it's been a pretty good week of practice.
Well, the other thing is, as far as Wyatt goes, is he healthy and ready to go this week after a big night last week?
He is. He struggled. He had a little bit of an Achilles injury that he dealt with over the weekend, and on Monday and Tuesday didn't practice, but practiced yesterday, and he'll practice again today for pregame. But overall, he should be good to go, and hopefully we get the kids that have been sick back as well.
You know, Coach, I give a little more credit to your offensive line, if I may. Those guys don't get enough credit, I think, sometimes. And generally, we always talk about the skilled people. But talking with Jacob a little bit yesterday, he just said, we get it there and we do our job, and that's what is expected of us. And they generally go both ways, too. Well,
and you make a great point about the offensive line. And I was just watching something on Twitter today from Duke's football coach that, he was talking about the offensive line. And those are the guys that on most teams, and probably on all teams, and when it comes to football, are the guys that are most unselfish people. All they care about is winning. They don't make stats for those guys. I mean, you get pancake blocks, but other than that, you either do your job, and when you don't do your job, then everybody's calling your name and why in the offensive line blocking. And our guys have worked extremely hard. Coach Fisher, our offensive line coach, has done a great job with them this year, and they've progressively gotten better. We still make some mental mistakes, but overall our kids work really hard, and they understand that, as we tell our kids, it's amazing what you can accomplish when you don't worry about who gets the credit, and that goes back to our offensive line.
If I may, before we talk about Mooresville, speaking of one instance against Connersville, and you mentioned Branton Thomas playing, he was at, I think, the left tight end spot. He gave up a sack. And I just remember him coming back as strong as he did. He made a couple of nice plays and blocks, not only offensively, he got some stops on defense. He just didn't let that bother him.
And that's a great point. We talk to our kids all the time about, don't worry about the last play, make the next play. And too many times kids, for instance, going back to the touchdown that we gave up at the end of the first half, it was a bad snap, and then the punt gets blocked, and we give up the touchdown. And you could tell, we kind of fumbled a kickoff return, and then that same person kind of let that carry over into plays afterwards. And as we talk about all the time, you can't worry about the last play. It's over. You got to make the next play. And our kids are getting better at that, and those are some things that we talk about all the time in practice.
I got this.
got this.
I got this.
At Harrington Hogue, we believe your life belongs to you. That's why we work hard to make sure that your insurance coverage is the last thing you have to worry about. So when it comes to keeping you protected,
We got this.
All right, this is a new animal. I don't think we've ever played Mooresville that I know of because of the way the sectional's always lined up. You look at their numbers, and I don't need to tell you anything. That's a pretty good football team you're playing on Friday night.
They're very good. They're 9-1. They have one loss to Decatur Central, who's a really good team, and that wasn't a blowout by any means. That was a good game. So they played in some tough games. They're well prepared. They have a really good coach. Mike Gillen actually was coaching way back when I was a youngster at South Putnam High School. He was at Tri-West High School. He was their head coach. I believe he took them to some state championship games. Great coach. They've got a lot of numbers out. I think he said they had over 90 kids out. And, they've got really good personnel. They've got a great left offensive tackle who's only a sophomore, 6'4", 295, probably one of the best blocking linemen we've seen this year. They've got three really good skilled receivers. One of them's probably a D1 kid. And then a good quarterback, good running back, and their defense plays really well as well.
Are they balanced? Will they? And if you look at their numbers, they've got 2 or 3 running backs that are really good, but their quarterback throws the ball well.
Yeah, and and that's the hallmark of Coach Gillen's team. All the way back in Stone Age when I played in the 80s, he was throwing the ball around. He likes to throw the ball deep. They've got some guys that can go get it, and as you mentioned, they have 3 good running backs. The backup's good, and the third guy's good. So they're pretty balanced. They do definitely like to throw the ball, but they've got some good offensive linemen, and they want to run the ball behind number 70, who's their left tackle.
And it's not that you haven't seen teams like this. You could go throughout the year and talk about the Lafayette Jeffs, the Kokomos, and many of those teams, so it's nothing unfamiliar.
It's not, and it comes down to preparation and a belief that you can get it done. As we talk to our kids all week leading into the game tomorrow night, there were a lot of people that didn't think Purdue could get a win over Ohio State, but the guys in that locker room did, and the coaching staff put together a great plan for them, and that is our hope, that our kids understand that we've got to believe in each other, believe in the guy next to you, believe in what we're doing in terms of the plan we're putting together to be successful, and anything can happen in playoff football.
Well, I tell you what, talking with both Bryce and Jacob yesterday, you kind of get the sense that they feel that way. They have nothing to lose. Let's just go out there and put it out on the line.
Yeah, that's a great point. Sometimes teams that have nothing to lose are the scariest to deal with, and hopefully we're one of those teams. We feel like getting them at home is good for us. We can stay in a home routine, and they've got to travel here, and we don't know what the weather's going to be like, but with turf, it doesn't really matter. We just feel like we're playing in the second round. We've got a great opportunity against a great team, and we need to look at it as an opportunity to go out and play well and give ourselves a chance to win.
Hey, before I let you go, do you kind of get a sense of what your team is feeling? Do they feel like, listen, we have a chance if we just go out and do our job?
Well, I think that's something that we've tried to instill in them all week, that you have to believe in each other and believe in what we're doing. And we're going to put together a package that can be successful. We just have to execute it with great focus, great tenacity, and great effort. And a great effort not just in terms of yourself, but pulling for the guy next to you.
The Indiana Football Hall of Fame in Richmond, Indiana was founded in 1973. Its mission is to honor the men and women who have excelled in high school, college, or professional football based on their coaching, athletic ability, citizenship, scholarship, and significant supporting contributions to the game of football. The Indiana Football Hall of Fame includes retrospection from Indiana's prestigious football history from the late 1800s to the present. When you visit the hall, you'll see the names like Weeview Bank, Vegas Ferguson, Newt Rockney, and Lamar Lundy. The Indiana Football Hall of Fame is located at 815 North A Street in Richmond and is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. There is no entrance fee and donations are appreciated. Take time to visit Indiana football history at the Indiana Football Hall of Fame.
Meet Josh.
Hi, everybody.
Josh is a high school basketball player, solid shooter, great teammate.
Hey, don't forget my tenacious D.
And he's my son.
Oh.
So, what does Josh do to be the best basketball player he can be?
I play tennis.
Studies show that student athletes here in Indiana who play more than one high school sport are more likely to excel. Tennis does more than improve Josh's conditioning. It gives him a fresh competitive outlet, reduces the risk of injury by cross-training, and introduces him to different coaching techniques and new friends.
Don't get me wrong, hoops are my first love. Tennis just gives me a little break.
So when the new season begins, Josh isn't burned out on basketball. He's eager to play, and you can see the difference in his game.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Hey, we're back once again here at Leibold Field in Richmond. Thanks for being with us as we get set for tonight's sectional semifinal. It's Richmond and Mooresville. Let's take a quick look at this Mooresville football team. And again, they're very good. Their head coach, Mike Gillen, in his 40th year in coaching, 317 wins in those 40 years. They're ranked 6th in the AP poll, 8th in the coaches poll, and in the Sagarin rating, they're number 1 in this sectional. So there's no doubt about it. They've played good football this year. One loss on their resume this year on the road at a very good Decatur Central team. They lost that one 38-28. But since then, though they may give up some points throughout the remainder of the season and even throughout the year, they know how to score, and there's no doubt about that. Averaging over 40 points per game coming to this one here tonight. And, of course, picked up that big win last week in the first round of the sectional tournament, knocking off Beech Grove by a final 49-21. We already talked a little bit about Carson Goodman, their senior quarterback, over 2,000 yards passing, 16 touchdowns to go along with 7 interceptions. He averages over 200 yards per game passing. We mentioned James Mabry, the senior, 5'9", 170 pounds. He will not play tonight. He's coming off a 355-yard game and 6 touchdowns against Perry Meridian. So the good news is he's not playing tonight. The Red Devils will not have to face him this evening. But John Eineman, watch for this guy. Very, very good receiver, 6'4", 185 pounds, 57 receptions coming in. And then, of course, Braden Evans, a junior receiver, 32 receptions coming into this one as well. And we already talked about the one lineman to watch for. That'll be Zach Richards, 6'4", 295 pounds. From a team standpoint, over almost 2,000 yards rushing, over 2,000 yards passing. They are averaging 391 yards per game in total offense. So there's no doubt about it for tonight. The Red Devils defense will have their work cut out for them. When we come back in a couple of moments, we'll find out what our young color analyst thinks about tonight's matchup. The keys to the game is coming up in just a few moments. Stay right there. This is sectional football right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.
Sportsmanship doesn't happen just on the court or on the field or on the mat. It doesn't happen only in the pool or on the green or the track. It also happens in the stands, on the sidelines, on the web, and at home. That's because sportsmanship is everyone's responsibility. We remind you to practice good sportsmanship at all high school sporting events. Treat athletes and officials with respect during competition and especially in social media. And support your team's coaching staff. Remember, sportsmanship has a face. Yours. A message from your high school and the Indiana High School Athletic Association.
As we mentioned at the top of the show, it is another night of nasty weather, and both teams will have to play through, at least at this point, wet, damp conditions. But so far it looks like the heavier rain is not going to be here. It's just going to be one of those nights that will be what we would consider more of an annoyance than anything when it comes to the weather here this evening. All right, let's talk about the keys to this one here tonight. You attended practice this week. I saw a lot of your notes on some of the things, which really does make sense for this week when you talk about the discipline, things they'll have to work on this week. They did put in a speed option fake, which I think will be interesting tonight to see how that'll be run this evening. That's not something you see that you put this late in an offense this late in the season. You mentioned the offensive line played well this week. So from what you saw in practice, you think everything that at least through the time you saw really leads up to if the Red Devils can play and keep this game close in the fourth quarter, that'll be the big key.
Right, and it obviously was pretty nice weather for the practice. A little chilly, but not much else. I did see Zach Hill. He has had some problems with short game accuracy and some deep, which is expected, but mostly in the short game, and I saw that improve a lot. I think he had one inaccurate short pass the entire practice, which is really good looking in to here in Thursday as well, because I went both days, but Thursday I didn't get much because I wasn't, had stuff to do and all. And the next one I got is this Mooresville team is huge. We've been playing against numbers all year, as I've said earlier. If Richmond can get out of their heads thinking, man, this team is ranked in the state. I've heard it all week from coaches a couple times. I heard it all week from players. If they can get out of their heads, they may be able to come out on top of this one.
I think defense will be the big key tonight. You have so many different weapons from a Mooresville team that you didn't see last week against a Connorsville team that really could not throw the football. You could really pin your ears back and go after them, but that's not going to be the case tonight. What are your thoughts defensively if this Richmond football team is to slow this Mooresville team down? Again, averaging over 40 points per game, they're going to have to find a way to slow this offense down and keep their offense off the field with what you can do offensively as well.
A big thing for Richmond tonight, as you mentioned, their defense. They cannot rely on the freshmen to make all the plays. Jake Haynes, obviously a very good player. He made, 12, 13 tackles the other night at Connorsville?
Yeah.
That's good. I encourage him to keep doing that, but their defense cannot revolve around Jake Haynes. It has to revolve around all 11 helmets instead of just the one, because if everyone's not on their top of their game and Jake Haynes is the one, well, then they're just going to run it around him or they're going to pass it around him. So I think all the defensive players have to step up just a little bit, be a little bit more intense, punch them in the mouth first play of the game, and I think they'll be set there if they can do that.
All right, the other thing is put points on the board, which, again, it looks like, at least from the numbers standpoint, you can do against Mooresville. But I think one guy, well, actually I think there's two playmakers outside of Wyatt Bird, and that is Trayshawn Jones and Julian Holguin. I think those two guys are going to have to really be involved in the offense here tonight if the Red Devils are going to move the chains and sustain drives against good football teams.
Right, and you got to remember, you got to say that right before that's when they score.
I did it last week. Thank you. We will come back. By the way, we moved everything inside. Inclement weather again expected here tonight. So every once in a while you might see a little bit of a glare on your TV screen. And we, again, just had to move inside. Had really no choice. We'd much rather be outdoors for tonight's matchups. We apologize for that. All right, we'll come back. The kickoff is right around the corner. Stay right there. This is sectional football from Leibold Field in Richmond right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Indiana, who do you meet? When you're working for a mover and shaker with strong ties to our community, who are they? When you encounter a group of people eager to roll up their sleeves, who are you most likely to work with? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Taking the initiative, being a good teammate, sacrificing personal glory for the greater good. These are qualities we expect of our leaders, and they're all being cultivated in the high schools right here in Indiana. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor.
It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
It's the geometry teacher who mans the ticket window.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.
It's the accountants and salesmen and store managers who give up their Friday evenings to referee.
It's the graduate who listens to the league championship game on the internet.
It's the parent who sells ads in the school athletic program.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
It's the trainers, equipment managers, and ball boys who never miss a practice.
What makes high school sports here in Indiana so special? They do.
You do.
We all do.
High school sports. It's the we that every community needs. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Well, the Red Devils will get the football first. They have won the toss, and they will now elect to receive here in the first half as the Pioneers will tee it up at the 40-yard line. And for those of you that are watching us around the state of Indiana, thanks for being with us. Those that have joined us from Mooresville as well. Appreciate you being with us tonight here for sectional football. Teeing things up will be Christian Swigert, who will again put this ball in play, and this night is underway. A high kick, and Trayshawn Jones will watch this one sail into the end zone, and that will be a touchback. Holguin back along with Trayshawn, and the Red Devils will have the football at the 20-yard line. Zach Hill, 4 or 5 last week, 103 yards and a touchdown, but it was Wyatt Bird, 33 carries, 217 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He was the hero of that game last week. And for the season, Zach Hill at 45 of 88, 589 yards, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But again, his resume only about half of the season as he took over the starting duties halfway through the year. Holguin in motion, handoff to Holguin, lead blocker over the right side. Holguin finds some running room, and he's going to get a nice gain of about 12 yards and a first down for the Red Devils. And so you talk about the playmakers, and we mentioned Holguin as one of those guys. There you have it.
And we did mention, I mentioned one of the first things these Red Devils has got to do is come in and just punch them in the mouth early and get a lot of motivation from that, get a lot of a positive enforcement.
Red Devils have liked this 2 tight end formation, which they're using with both tight ends in a stand-up formation now. Here's Wyatt Bird on the carry. He'll get a couple, and he's not going to get much after that. Blake Garrett, one of the defensive ends, they call him the evil end, coming in to get the stop, and only a gain of a couple on the play for Wyatt Bird.
Now, the problem with that is that's the one thing that Richmond cannot let happen on offense tonight. If they want to win, they have to get the run game going and get it going soon and efficiently.
And make sure they don't get in 3rd down and long. That has been their Achilles heel many times this year. It was not last week. They stayed out of the 3rd and long. Holguin in motion. Handoff will go to Wyatt Bird again, and he may get a yard this time. There wasn't a whole lot running room up the middle. Robbie Gentry there, one of the other tackles to make the stop. Gentry goes at 5'8", 275.
And this is exactly what you mentioned that we cannot have coming into this game just a moment ago. And we're already in that situation.
Yeah, 3rd down and long right here as the Red Devils in a passing formation again, as you will see Zach, quick drop, hitter to the outside, ball caught by Trayshawn Jones, but he'll be dropped at the 38. And that will be short of a Red Devil first down. And so Richmond, after getting that nice run by Holguin early, will have to punt the football away in their first possession. And this is going to give Mooresville very good field position. And by the way, John Einman, the one guy that when I was talking with Tony Lewis, they said do not punt it to Einman. So let's see what the Red Devils will do right here.
And Troy, I also mentioned our punter's been kicking from the 45 to the opposite field end zone as well. So
Peter Baugh, a nice leg into this one, though it's a little bit short, but we'll take a Richmond roll. And the good news is Einman will not have a chance to return it, and Mooresville will have the football at about the 22-yard line. So we will see this Mooresville offense for the first time. And we mentioned Carson Goodman, 2,022 yards, 16 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. But James Mabry over 1,300 yards rushing, not playing tonight. And by the way, the 24 touchdowns that goes with him, not in the lineup tonight either. Looks like that's going to be Brecken Green, number 45, will be in the backfield. And Green will get the call to the near side, and a short run, not much there, maybe a yard or so. Good defensive effort on that side. Holguin is there for the Red Devils. Also coming in will be Quavion Allen.
Saw Bryce Brown had a hand in there coming right off the end, too. Kind of stunned him there at first. Got a hand on his jersey, didn't let go. Eventually caused a stop.
By the way, the other player that you keep an eye on tonight is Branton Thomas. He's back at that defensive end spot. Shotgun formation, second down, and they'll throw. Ball caught far side, not much of a gain again. On the reception, number 6, Kyler Evans, only 155-pound receiver. And it's going to be third down and about 4, maybe 5 for the first down. As we see Goodman throwing short in his first pass play of this ball game here tonight, so we're going to call it third down and 4. 8:54 to go in the opening period of play. Red Devils stay with that 4-man front. And the throw again by Goodman. Near side, ball caught by Einman, but he goes nowhere as it's caught at about the 31. And the Red Devils defense, there is Holguin again for Richmond. It's going to be fourth down at about a yard now for Mooresville.
Now, all Richmond has to do is keep this energy throughout the game, and I think they'll be okay. They came out with a lot of intensity and just punched them in the mouth. They did have that. They did have to have punt on the last drive, but
keep making plays like that, and you'll probably be okay. So it'll be fourth down, and they're going to go for it over the left side. They're going to get the first down, and running the football and keeping his legs turning once again is number 45, Brecken Green. And Mooresville will get the first down. So football will be placed at the 39-yard line. First down and 10 now for Mooresville. Goodman will spread it out once again. 2 to the near side. Single receiver split wide to the left. H-back of the ball game to the left as well. Single setback. That's Green. Goodman to throw. He's going to go down the middle of the field. Has Einman in and out of his hands and incomplete. And a flag is down back around the line of scrimmage, so we'll have our first penalty flag. And it's going to be a holding penalty against Mooresville. Well, if the Red Devils, do you go ahead and take it, or do you take the incomplete pass?
I'd go ahead and take it, set them back just a little bit further. We saw what the Red Devils did. They pushed them to third down and about 4 just a minute ago on 1st and 10. I think on first and 20, they could probably hold them just a little bit longer. Hold them a little bit further back from that first down marker.
There's your first big penalty of the ball game, though it would have been an incomplete pass. It'll be first down and about 24 for the first down. And the handoff, Green, big hole up the middle, 35 all the way to the 41. So he got a big chunk of that back, and their offensive line coming off that line very well. And one of those guys, Zach Richards, at 6'4", 295. We mentioned him already twice tonight. And they open up some big holes.
Into the ball game.
So now it'll be second down and 8. After another nice run, I should say, by Green. And now Goodman under center. Green, he's going to get stopped. Nowhere to go. Jacob Jones makes the stop at about the 40. Good job by the senior defensive tackle.
And, Troy, something I noticed there that was kind of weird that I don't think I've seen in probably since middle school is only half the line had their hands on the ground. The right side had their hands up like they do, like in a 2-point stance, and then the other ones had in a 3 and 4.
So it'll be third down. Let's call it third down and 9. Goodman will be under center once again. He'll fake the handoff and roll. The throw is low and incomplete, intended for Braden Evans, the junior receiver at 6 foot and 190 pounds. And Mooresville this time on fourth down. Instead of fourth down and 1, they'll be at fourth down and 9. And the Red Devil defense will hold and force them into a punting situation. Trayshawn Jones will be deep once again for the Red Devils in this first punt attempt. Trayshawn is generally the guy who will return punts for the Red Devils.
That's something we have seen a lot in film this week is Mooresville likes to do a fake punt, so we will see that a lot this week.
Heineman an end-over-end punt, and Trayshawn inside the 20. Trayshawn trying to get room to the outside across the 30 to the 35 and then driven back. They will give him forward progress at the 35-yard line, and that's where the Red Devils will take over first and 10, 6:10 remaining here in the opening period of play. So Richmond's defense, they did what they had to do, and though they gave up a couple of nice runs to Green, they are still able to survive a fourth down and 1 and then a fourth down and long, enforcing the punt. So now the Red Devils trips to the near side. And again, Zach will be pretty much in a pistol, not a shotgun. He's only a couple of yards back. The H-back will be Wyatt. Wyatt will take the handoff around the right side, get a couple of yards before he is driven down. Wyatt's yards will be a little tougher to come by here tonight than it was last week as Camden Schmidt, one of the linebackers, there to make the stop, and it'll be second down at about 7.
And Troy, something we saw from both teams, Connersville and Richmond last week when we were in Connersville, the snap made and broke the game.
Yeah, there were several times with the bad weather as they'll fake the handoff, and the keeper by Zach. Hill trying to get to the outside, and he may get back to the line of scrimmage, and that was it, the tackle made by Braden Evans. Boy, I tell you, I think if he keeps heading north, he probably might gain some yardage, but then he tried to get to the outside. He doesn't have that kind of speed.
And the problem is I'm afraid if he does something like that, he's going to get hurt. So that just kind of the part of that scares me the most. Is, I mean, we do have Alex Nediger ready to come back in for the into the backfield for Zach, but
third down again for the Red Devils. Third down and 7. Option pitch. Here is Wyatt. Wyatt, nice gain over the right side. First down for Bird as he gets across the 45 out to around the 47-yard line. And there's that speed option you were talking about. They used that effectively to the right side.
And I knew that it would come into play. It was just a question of when tonight. I was at practice on Tuesday, and they probably repped that about 40, 50 times.
Well, they ran that really well, and Wyatt able to hit that hole. Snediger, the lone receiver to the near side, hash mark to the right. We'll have 2 receivers to the right, one of those Holguin, the other one Trayshawn Jones. And the H-back Bryce Brown lined up to the left. Play action pass once again for Zach. Throws over the middle, ball caught by Holguin, and he will get down to about the 37-yard line. And we talked about Holguin, and of course he came up with that big touchdown last week. I think he's a guy. He's got great speed. You want to get the ball in his hands as much as you can, and the Red Devils found him for the nice gain in the first down.
And Holguin's not just the fast guy on the team. Yes, he is very fast, but he is very smart with the football as well.
Trips to the right, hand off to Wyatt. Wyatt may be to the line of scrimmage before he's driven back. He was hit first by number 32, and we mentioned Schmidt already, and number 62, Gentry, coming in to help make the stop. And after a loss of about a half a yard, we'll call it second down and 11. So now Richmond again, a chance to move the football here in the opening period of play with 3:41 remaining. No score here in this sectional semifinal from Leibold Field. Bird, the lone setback, out of the pistol once again. And here's the option to the right side, and nowhere to go, and they're going to lose some yardage on this one. Zach will be dropped for the loss. Blake Garrett, the defensive end, in to make the stop. And the Red Devils now faced with a 3rd down and long, and here's again that 3rd and long situation they were trying to avoid. And again, I don't mind the speed option run, but you're going to have to head north instead of going sideline to sideline.
And that's the second time this drive alone we've seen that from this Devils offense.
This time the Red Devils trip to the left side. Empty to the right, hash mark to the right, option again, and nowhere to go. Zach Hill goes down at the 40. So nothing there for the Red Devils on 3rd and long. It's going to be 4th down and about 13 now. Wyatt getting rid of a brace that had come off.
It's actually a hand warmer. Zach Hill's hand warmer.
Oh, Zach hand. Well, that's a disaster. You want to lose your hand warmer.
Oh,
so
man.
4th down and 13. The Red Devils are going to go for it right here. So instead of bringing in Peterbaugh, Zach's going to throw, has time, looking to his left, and then he's going to get dropped. He takes a big hit on the sack, and the Red Devils, with Dom Oldham, the anchor end, coming in to make the sack, and the Red Devils give up the football, and Mooresville stopping the Red Devils' drive, and they'll have very good field position.
And so far here, 2 minutes left in the first quarter. It's a tightly contested ball game. I don't think you can take shots down the field like that. You have pretty good chance to set them up in horrible field position for your defense to come in, and we've seen them turn possessions into safeties. So,
First
not
down.
sure why the coach called for that.
1st down and 10, 2 minutes remaining. They'll throw, man open, and then just out of his reach, Braden Evans. Boy, Evans right down the seam, and the Red Devils had decent coverage, but Evans, another one of those tall receivers. They list him at about 6 foot. He might be a little bit taller than that, but they've got some pretty good receivers right down that seam.
Now, Troy, that's probably the 2nd or 3rd time that I've thought you just pronounced my name incorrectly.
I know.
There's a few Evans on this team.
There
right
are. There are
yeah.
about 3 of them, I believe. You could make a 4th. The rain now starting to come down. Evans in motion. Evans will take the handoff around the left edge. Evans has running room, still on his feet, got the 1st down and more, and the Red Devils will have to do a better job of tackling than that, as that ended up being a huge gain. Eli Irvin finally got a hold of his legs and brought him down, but not until he got to the 31-yard line.
Now, Troy, I was actually talking to Floyd Andrews, who used to run statistician here in the box. And me and him were talking, and a big problem for this defense is they cannot be arm tackling.
Yeah.
That was a 20, 30-yard, about 20-yard run of arm tackling. So that's going to be a huge issue if they keep doing that.
Goodman, man in motion. They'll fake it to Iman. Handoff to Green, nowhere to go, as the first one in there for the Red Devils. We saw him have a nice game last week. Blaine Pierce. So that'll be a loss of 5. It'll be 2nd down and 15. A minute 17 remaining here in the first quarter of play. Boy, Richmond's defense really overall has played very well here tonight. So now 2nd down and 14. Goodman once again, as we mentioned, the rain starting to come down a little bit harder, sets up the screen pass to the far side. Green on the reception at the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, cuts back upfield, touchdown Green. And are there any flags down? Let's wait and see. It is a touchdown until we see if there are any penalties, but I don't see one. And a nice screen pass set up to Green, and the touchdown run goes 35 yards. And Mooresville on top of this one, 6-0.
As you just said, Troy, credit where credit is due. That was a very well-executed screen pass. And I thought it was just bad blocking for a second.
Well, he got some pretty decent blocks, but the thing is, the Red Devils need to stop that play at the line of scrimmage if they can. They could not do so, so the extra point attempt is on the way, and it is good. On the Wesley Bates Wealth Management scoreboard. 35-yard touchdown run, and the Red Devils trail this one 7-0. This is Richmond football and Radio Troy Digital Sports.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.
It's the accountants and salesmen who give up their Friday evenings to referee.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
What makes high school sports here in Indiana so special? They do.
You do.
We all do.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Well, I'll tell you what, as you said to me during the timeout, you can't be really that upset with Richmond's defense because I think overall they played very well up until that run by Green that got them the first down. But that's a pretty decent screen pass, and Green had all kinds of blockers in front of him.
Well, it was just a well-executed screen pass, and I know when they get to the sideline as they are now, and I see Coach talking to a few of the linemen, you've got to stick to that lineman's hip. You cannot be following the ball. You got to stick to that lineman's hip and follow the play.
So the Red Devils will get the football back. Trayshawn Jones is deep, and once again that one kicked into the end zone. And their kicker has a very, very good leg as Swigert puts that one again for a touchback. And again, great to have you with us here tonight for high school football. The Red Devils trying to pull off a win here tonight against a Mooresville team, again at 9-1 in the season. No one is certainly denying that the Red Devils would have to play pretty much perfect football here tonight. But so far, not too bad. They've gotten themselves in a couple of positions where they've had 3rd and long, and that's hurt their drives here in the first period. 47.3 seconds remaining. Bird the lone setback. The rain continues to come down. Bird on the carry, finds a hole up the middle. Bird still on his feet as he bounces to the outside, brought down at the 25. Boy, he got hit pretty hard, too. Coming up number 6, that was Kyler Evans, who made the stop. But, you know, how about when you look at Bird, and he's not a big guy, but the one thing he does, he just keeps those legs churning and churning and churning until he finally hits the ground.
He does not give up yards easily. We saw a lot of times last year where guys would get him in the backfield, and they'd still be fighting after the whistle blew.
Red Devils will let the clock run out, I do believe. In the quarter, though, they've tried to make a couple of personnel changes. They will let it go, and we have made it to the end of the first quarter of play. So, after 1 on the Wesley Bates Wealth Management scoreboard, there you see it, Mooresville on top of Richmond 7-0. The second period coming up in just a few moments. This is Richmond football on Radio Troy Digital Sports.
Hey, honey, is this your course schedule for the fall?
Yep.
Let me see here. English, good. Chemistry, trigonometry, excellent. World history, I love world history. Baseball? Wait, baseball? Baseball isn't a course, honey.
Well, sure it is, Mom. High school sports are about so much more than winning and losing. They teach lessons that can't be taught in a classroom, like accountability and self-discipline, the value of teamwork. I may not be earning a grade, but I'm learning how to compete later in life. Isn't that what getting a good education is all about?
Yes, of course it is. I was just testing you.
What can teenagers here in Indiana learn from participating in high school sports? Plenty, as it turns out. That's why they're called education-based athletics.
High school sports. There's so much more than just a game.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
By the way, there are 2 other teams in the area that are still in action. Hagerstown had to make that long road trip to Edinburgh tonight. And Northeastern, they're on the road tonight at LaPel. If we get updates on those games, we will definitely pass those along to you as well. As we are now into period number 2. Red Devils again out of the pistol formation. Wyatt, here's a flag down, and Wyatt may get a yard on the carry, and that's probably going to be a holding penalty. Came right in the middle of that offensive line.
Holding on the Red Devils.
So Richmond's first penalty of the night is a holding penalty. And that is a tough one just from the standpoint as it puts you a little bit deeper in your own territory. And for an offense that has moved the football a couple of times tonight but continues to be stranded by the 3rd and long, as the Red Devils again will work with 3 wide, 2 to the near side. And again out of the pistol, here is Zach Hill. Takes the high snap, sweep to the right side. Bird cuts back and may again only get a couple of yards. Good pursuit by the Mooresville defense. Number 4, that was Hayden Vaughn in there. And also coming in, number 13, Braden Evans.
No.
So here's another 3rd and long.
Right. This is the thing that we have to avoid most. We've seen Richmond struggle with it a lot already tonight, 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
This is just the one thing that we cannot do. This cannot happen.
11:22 remaining. Again, 3rd and long for the Red Devils. Pistol formation, handoff to Wyatt, and Wyatt gets nothing. He may get a yard, and that was about it. Coming in to make the stop was Camden Schmidt again, the inside linebacker, 6 foot, 236 pounds. And the Red Devils offense stifled this time, and they'll have to give up the football.
Now, Troy, I'm going to ask you because I don't quite understand this. It's 3rd and 13. Why do you run the ball?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I think it's an obvious passing down, and you play conservative, you're still going to give up the football and give Mooresville pretty good field position. I'm not so sure I don't let him throw the ball, especially when you have 2 pretty good receivers, as Einman will take this in about the 43. Einman tried to get to the outside, in fact, even tried to stiff arm
Trayshawn Jones.
Yeah, Trayshawn was there, and also there for the Red Devils was Julian Holguin. Back to your point, I think at 3rd and 13, I think you got to throw it. You've got Trayshawn at 6'4". Holguin has good speed. We saw what he could do last week. Maybe set up a screen pass or try to get it to Trayshawn over the middle. Something to at least give you an opportunity to get the first down. I'm not sure why. Football will be placed at the 44-yard line. Mooresville on top of this one, 7-0. 10:24 to go here in the second quarter. And Goodman to throw, and intercepted. It's going to be Holguin on the interception. He could get a pick 6, getting blockers ahead of him, and then brought down at the 10-yard line.
And that is just what Richmond needed. They are not out of this ball game yet, but that gets them so much closer to bringing this ball game back to a fresh start.
Well, I tell you what, that's a huge turnover for the Red Devils. As now Richmond will have it 1st and goal at the 10-yard line. Boy, this would be huge right here for Richmond. The best field position they have had all night long because of the interception.
But, Troy, we did see them in Kokomo, I believe. They got down into the goal line, I think within the 4-yard line, and they still couldn't make anything out of it.
Pistol formation again. Here's the fake of the handoff to Bird. Throw over the middle. Ball caught by Trayshawn down to the 1. Here's Trayshawn over the middle again. We said it probably would be an opportunity for Trayshawn just moments ago, and Richmond now knocking on the door, 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line.
And if I were them, Troy, what I would do is send Trayshawn Jones out like they are right now and just doing a little fade route to the back of the end zone.
Well, they're going to give it to Bird over the left side. Bird diving ahead, and he gets in for the touchdown. So following the interception returned by Holguin, setting up the touchdown at 9:35, and the Red Devils now to within 1. So now Peterball will come in to attempt the extra point. We mentioned the rain continuing to come down here at Leibold Field. Snedeker will be the holder, and Peterball's kick is on the way, and his kick is good. On the Wesley Bates Wealth Management scoreboard, the Red Devils get a big turnover, and they've tied this ball game at 7 apiece, 9:35 remaining in the second.
The debate about sports specialization by high school athletes continues. Some argue that high school athletes who play one sport all year long have a better chance of landing a lucrative pro contract. But that's simply not true. In fact, 30 of the 32 first-round picks in last year's NFL draft played more than one sport in high school. Of the 32 players drafted, 22 also participated in high school track and field. 19 also played basketball. Some also played baseball and lacrosse. What's the path to success for high school athletes here in Indiana, no matter what their goals might be? Study hard, always do your best, and if you can, play more than one sport in high school. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Brent Evans along with Troy Derengowski as the Red Devils have tied this ball game at 7 apiece. Thanks for being with us tonight, and I'm telling you one thing for sure, I'm glad we're in here.
Yeah, with a nice little heater right beside us, too.
Boy, the rain is, though it's not heavy, it's been very, very steady throughout this one here this evening as the Red Devils able to come back and tie their heavy underdogs in this one here this evening as the ball will fall off the tee. And so Peter Baugh will have to put it back on. Let's see if it'll stay this time. So Gage will set it once again as the Pioneers will get the football. Stevenson on the return. At the 15, the 20, 25, over the 30, 35, 40. He could go all the way. He's going to cut back at the middle, 35, 30, and then finally brought down at the 25-yard line. And that's the last thing the Red Devils needed to see was a nice return.
There is a late flag down on the 40-yard line.
Yes, there is. A flag is down, and it's going to be on Mooresville. That's going to be a hold, and that's going to negate the long run.
Very long.
You know, those are when you speak of that situation, it's things like that, you know, you just had all the momentum, you get the big interception, you get the touchdown, you tie the ball game, and then you give that up. That's the stuff that really hurts. So the good news is the penalty flag will bring them all back. Boy, he got some pretty good blocks there, too, but look at the replay on that. Too many players trailing that play instead of containing. So the ball brought back to the 30-yard line. It'll be first down now for the Pioneers. Two receivers to the near side. Eineman along with Evans. First down once again for the Pioneers. Green the lone setback. There's movement up front.
And that's been Richmond's biggest enemy. It is going to be against Mooresville here, but that has been Richmond's biggest enemy is jumping offsides defensively. Haven't seen much of it offensively, but
it'll be first down and 5 instead of first and 10 as Goodman again under center. Handoff to Green. Green sidesteps one defender. He'll get a couple of yards out of that carry. There is your freshman linebacker, the leader in tackles in Jake Haynes at only 170 pounds, but coming into this one averaging on the season 7.2 tackles per game, which leads the Red Devils in that category.
Coming off of a 13 or 14 tackle game last week, I believe. Somewhere around that.
Under 9 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. Green, the lone setback again, gets the call as he will continue to carry that ball across the 40. See where they'll finally bring him down about the 41-yard line. Blaine Pierce there for the Red Devils on the stop. And we're looking now at first down and 10 once again for the Pioneers.
And real quick, Troy, me and you were talking earlier about the Greenwood-Mount Vernon game, the winner of this game going on to play that. Greenwood is actually leading Mount Vernon 7-0 right now.
We'll keep you updated on other scores. Here's a handoff. Well, I tell you what, an end around once again by Evans, and Evans has a nice seam up the right side, still on his feet inside the 30, finally brought down by Haynes. Boy, I tell you what, Richmond's going to have to do a better job in the tackling department right there. I know it's wet, it's nasty, and it's hard to get a hold of that uniform, but you're going to have to do a better job of tackling from the waist down instead of trying to tackle up high. 7:58 to go. Now Mooresville on the drive. They'll work on the hash mark to the right, one receiver to the left. They'll fake the handoff. Goodman rolling, has plenty of time. Now will tuck it under himself and then run out of bounds on the near sideline. Red Devils giving chase Big 64, Blaine Pierce there again for the Red Devils to finally catch up with him. But now it'll be second down and about 8, maybe 9 right here as the football placed at the 27-yard line. At halftime, we'll have the commissioner's report. We'll also hear from the most recent Mental Attitude Award winner that is produced by the Indiana High School Athletic Association. We'll talk some boys tennis in that area. Green, the lone setback once again. Carson Goodman again will hand off to Green. Nice blocking over the left side. Cuts back up to the middle and will break a couple of tackles again and then finally slammed hard as Trayshawn Jones will make the tackle.
I don't think Trayshawn Jones was kidding around there.
Yeah, he got a really good grip on Green, and Green, a tough kid, getting back up. And it'll be a first down, and we'll put the football at the 12-yard line. Boy, you look at big on number 70, Zach Richards at 6'4", 295. He looks every bit of 6'4", 295. He's a big body. Of course, they're big on the right side as well. First down for the Pioneers. Hand off to Green. Big blockers ahead. Green cut back again and finally dropped down at about the 6. And Trayshawn Jones there again for Richmond to make the stop. Just over 7 minutes remaining here in this first half of play. We're tied at 7, but now Mooresville knocking on the door once again. Goodman under center. Green, the lone setback once again. And one receiver to the short side, hash mark to the right. Handoff Green. Green gets away from one tackler, heads to the end zone, and gets in for the touchdown. Unless he went out of bounds. No, he did not. That's going to be a score. And Mooresville gets on the board with a short run from 7 yards out, and the touchdown by Green, and the Pioneers coming right back to get the go-ahead score.
Now, Troy, with some of the games we've seen in the past, at this point we were a lot more than just 6 points down. I cannot be mad about this whatsoever, personally at least.
The only thing that I would be concerned about this one is how quickly they move down the field. That's the area that kind of bothers me a little bit, is they made it way too easy. And so now the extra point attempt, that's not a ghost you see right there. That is a reflection as that kick is on the way, and it is good. As we said, we moved everything indoors for this one here tonight because of the bad weather we're having here in Richmond. 14-7 on the Wesley Bates Wealth Management scoreboard.
Honey, isn't it amazing?
What?
The sacrifice, the dedication, the grit. I mean, they really set an example, don't they?
Oh, well, no question. Today's high school athletes are truly special.
Not the athletes.
Well, who?
The officials.
Oh.
Today's student athletes are truly special. But there's something pretty great about the men and women who officiate their games, too. Like the way they're giving back to their communities. Officiating is a terrific way to stay in shape, meet new people, and stay connected to the game you love. But the biggest reason of all? We need more qualified high school officials here in Indiana. And without them, the rest of us would have a whole lot less to cheer about. High school games need officials. High school sports need you.
Great call, Ralph!
Yeah!
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
Well, the Red Devils will get the football back down 14-7 with 6:38 remaining now in the first half of play, and a shorter kick this time, and Trayshawn will step in front of Holguin. Holguin was coming from behind. Trayshawn kind of looked at him like he was going to pitch it back to him, and then Trayshawn decided to take it himself, and we'll get out to about the 28-yard line. We mentioned we'll have the commissioner's report at halftime and our special feature from the Indiana High School Athletic Association on the tennis mental attitude winner. So that'll be coming up again at halftime. We get any scores, we'll pass those along to you as well. So the Red Devils at the 28-yard line. Zach will continue to work out of the pistol. Handoff will be to Wyatt Bird over the left side, and Wyatt continues to drive ahead. He'll get about 3, maybe 4 yards on the carry. Red Devils sticking to the ground attack here in the first half of play. Each team still with 3 timeouts remaining here in the first half as we come up on the 6-minute mark. The way that wind is coming and the rain is coming down, it is coming from the north. So the Red Devils have at least the elements at their back for the moment. In the slot to the near side as Hill will roll and throw, and it's behind the intended receiver. That's one of your tight ends as Bryce Brown unable to make the catch. That pass just a little bit behind him. But that's what you said earlier. He does have a little bit of a problem at times with the short game.
Well, I don't want to put the blame there on Zach Hill too much. Julian Holguin was actually right behind or close to right behind Bryce Brown as well.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just a little bit of a problem with either a route design or maybe a route ran wrong.
Yeah, somebody was in the wrong place. 2 guys too close together, right?
You can't have that.
Trips to the near side. Hash mark to the left, and the handoff will be Wyatt as Wyatt cuts back, and he's going to be stopped short of the first down. May have gotten to the 37-yard line. Big number 62 once again there to make the stop. That's going to be Robbie Gentry, and Gentry's had his name called a lot. It's going to be 4th down at about a yard, and Red Devils are not going to fool around with this one at 14-7, and a chance once again to think about maybe going for it, but they did it earlier. They will not do it this time as they will punt the football away.
I think I'd be more likely to do it this time than I would be.
Well, you're hoping now your defense is going to certainly hold tight.
Right.
And not give up anything here in the later stages
of pep talk from coach on the sideline.
Well, this is also a field position maneuver again with this punt, and Peterbaugh gets a nice roll again. See, that's perfect. Exactly what you're looking for is that's going to roll all the way down to the 11-yard line.
And this kid is only a sophomore, so we do have him for another 2 seasons.
Well, the nice thing about Peterbaugh is he does give you a little more satisfaction in knowing that he can first off punt the football, and number 2, he can kick for you. We didn't have that for about 4 games. We had nothing. We were going for it all the time.
And the field goals that eventually cost us the game with Anderson here at Leibold.
So however you want to look at it, he always seems to get a nice roll, too.
Gives you a little bit of a safety blanket.
Exactly. All right, it'll be 1st down and 10, football at the 11-yard line again for the Pioneers. Green, the lone setback, and they'll throw near side and overthrowing his intended receiver, Eineman. As the Pioneers try to throw on 1st down with 4:40 remaining in this opening half of play. Red Devils get a stop here. I think I'd feel pretty good going into the locker room with a 7-point deficit. So now 2nd down and 10, handoff Green, big hole up the middle, and this is what you got to stop right here out to about the 25. Blaine Pierce is there for the Red Devils. Also there, Quavion Allen to help make the stop, but that'll be a 1st down. Well, I guess you look at it 2 ways. You don't mind the bend, don't break type defense, but there's still a lot of time to go here in this first half of play. So nothing safe still at the moment. Well, now 2 receivers to the near side, 1 receiver split wide to the right. They'll put the football right in the middle of the field, and Goodman under center. Handoff Green over the right side. Green will get about 7 on this carry. Well, he's a hard runner as well at Quavion Allen there for the Red Devils also to make the stop, Jake Haynes. He reminds me a lot, Green, of our running back in Wyatt Bird. Not a big running back, but still runs very hard. 3:47 to go here in the second. Receiver to the near side is Kyler Evans. 1 receiver, Eineman, that is the lone guy to the right. Hash mark to the right, handoff Green over the right side. He got close to the 1st down marker and then was driven back. And in there again, Quavion Allen, and we're saying his name a lot. We're also saying Jake Haynes' name a lot, but enough for the 1st down for Green.
As you mentioned, Jake Haynes, his brother Jacob Haynes comes out of the lineup couldn't see what number went in for him.
3 minutes and 18 seconds remaining as Mooresville again getting this drive rolling with a running attack. Goodman to throw. Ball caught by Einman, and I think he put a knee down, and he did. Once he caught the football, the knee went down at around the 30, about 38 and a half. We're going to put it at the 38-yard line. So Einman knew he put the leg down right immediately, so it'll be second down at about 7 now for the first down, and that clock down to 2:48 to go here in this opening half. If you're Mooresville, you're probably not happy with just a 7-point lead at this point. The Red Devils are ecstatic right now, but they will give Mooresville the football to begin the third quarter. Handoff Green. Green gets stopped there for the stop. Richmond, first one in there was Bryce Brown. The second one in there is another senior we talked to earlier this week, and Jacob Jones.
And here's a big opportunity for the Red Devils defense, 3rd and 6. If they could get a stop here, there is 2 minutes still left on the clock, which a lot of that could be chewed off by just letting the clock run. But they do have a chance to still maybe put up at least 3 in this game before going into the locker
start
room.
Using your timeouts as well if you can get a stop. As Goodman to throw, he'll be flushed out of the pocket. Now fires it to the sideline, and it's incomplete. Intended for Kyler Evans, and now it's going to be 4th down and 6. So if Mooresville decides not to go for it and punt the football away, you potentially have time on the clock with 1:49 to go in the first half.
Which it looks like they are sending their quarterback back out onto the field. But I do want to give credit here really quick to Branton Thomas, playing very smart defense. He was about to come up and hit the quarterback, but once he saw he got the ball out of his hands, he just backed off and didn't deal with it, not risking that penalty in a costly situation.
All right, here we go. 4th down, hash mark left. It's going to be 4th down and 6, and a man moves on the other side, and there's your flag. Well, that was Braden Evans who jumped, and there's a huge penalty against Mooresville, and now they're going to bring the punting unit on. And this will help Richmond even more. You're going to get the football back. You have 3 timeouts remaining. You have 1:49, and barring an excellent punt right here by Einman, you're going to have a chance at pretty good field position. The Red Devils showing everybody at the line of scrimmage. Einman standing at about his 22-yard line. A good snap. Einman with that European-style punt will punt this one very short. It'll take a Richmond bounce, and the Red Devils are going to have it at around the 45, maybe 46-yard line. And still 1:39 to go. Boy, it is a game of field position in football. If you can get the field position because of your punting game, which has been Richmond's Achilles heel early, but when they got Pewterbaugh back, that made a huge difference. Trips to the near side. Richmond has been working out of the pistol pretty much most of the night. They're only about 2 yards off the line of scrimmage, maybe 3. Handoff will go to Wyatt, trying to follow his lead blocker and Sam Gamboa, and he might get to the line of scrimmage, and that was it. That play did not develop very well. Even the blocking over the left side with big number 66 there, Clayton Raper.
Now, the big problem with pulling your guards and your tackles for Richmond is they don't have a whole lot of speed. Yes, they are strong, they are quick for their size, but these guys can't keep up with these running backs and these linebackers out here trying to block for them.
Trips right again, hash mark left, fake the handoff, Zach to throw, over the middle, Holge makes the catch, nice sidestep, will get down to about the 42-yard line. Richmond throwing the football, and they're going to get a first down, but now 56 seconds remaining. Little short pass again for Holguin. Red Devils still have all 3 timeouts. They'll stay in the trips formation to the right. And Hill again will take the snap, steps up. Now he's going to run it himself. And he'll be brought down at about the 38-yard line. And I think the Red Devils are finally going to call a timeout right here with 45 seconds remaining here in the first half of play.
which if you want my opinion, I think that was honestly smart not to take a timeout, because you obviously had to have the clock stopped in time for the chains to get down the field and moved. And by the time they had the clock started, they were already lined up, ready to go. So very smart by Coach Lewis not to call that timeout and to save that timeout. Now they have 2, enough for another decent play, and if they need it, put on the field goal unit.
The only concern I have right now is I don't think you're going to get – you have 2 timeouts remaining, 45 seconds. I'm not sure you have – if you're going to run the football right here, I think at some point you're going to have to take a shot toward the end zone.
Right.
You got to throw the football somewhere that way, because right now, from what I can tell, Mooresville's playing everybody in the box. They're anticipating either a run or short pass. And you've got to open this up a little bit here if you're planning on scoring with only 45 seconds remaining. So now the Red Devils have it, 2nd down and about 7. This time the Red Devils will go trips to the left side. Zach will throw, and now he tucks it under, and that's probably not the thing you wanted, though he will get something positive out of it down to the 32, and the Red Devils will call yet another timeout.
Coach Lewis had to chase down the ref there trying to get that timeout called. Referee was running onto the field to mark the spot of the ball, and Coach Lewis had to chase him down for it.
So 37.3 seconds remaining.
And the good thing here is you do have an excellent field goal kicker. Probably the best one we've had of the season. Obviously, Stephon Huber being not on the team anymore, but you do have Gage Peterball, who can kick a pretty decent length field goal. I think I saw him boot one from the 30-yard line the other day, and they're about right there. So,
well, here's the other thing. You do have the wind behind you. That will be a factor, which would certainly play into the decision-making if you get it down to 4th down. But still, this would be a pretty long field goal. Even if he were to get 4th down, I mean, yeah, you're talking about 50 yards right here, and I don't think Peterball's got that good of a leg, even with the wind behind him. Trips to the left side, handoff to Bird, and Bird, though he got stopped, I think his second effort may have got him the first down to the 31. That's a pretty good second effort by Wyatt Bird.
They need to hurry up and get set very quickly. They signal for the first down. The clock will stop to get
31.3. Now the Red Devils go 4 wide. And Wyatt, the lone setback. Richmond still has 1 timeout remaining here in the first half. Zach looking left, and this time goes to the near side. It's going to be incomplete. Pass intended for Trayshawn Jones. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. And good news there, it does stop the clock at 23.2, and you don't use a timeout. 14-7. Mooresville on top in this sectional semifinal. Richmond trying to get on the board again here before the end of the half. And, well, that was 2 receivers on that near side as Zach will throw again to the end zone. Has a man, and in and out of the hands of Trayshawn Jones. Boy, Trayshawn, if he could just come up with that one, he had double coverage, but it just goes between the wickets. 18 seconds, 3rd down and 10. That's a ball you got to catch.
Especially with only 18 seconds left in the clock and you're down by 7.
Well, that was, again, you had 2 receivers there. One of those Holguin running almost in the same place, but that was still a ball looked like you're going to be able to catch. 18 seconds to go, and now Richmond with a huge 3rd down right here. 3rd down and 10. Trips to the near side. Hash mark to the right. Low throw, and the ball caught by Holguin. He gets out of bounds. Again, a smart play by Holguin. Was it enough for a first down? As we wait to see. Yeah, it's going to be close, but I think it's going to be 4th down at about a half a yard. Well, you have 13.6 right here. Let's see if Richmond's going to call another timeout, or they're going to get a measurement. Richmond may have asked for a measurement right there. I'm pretty sure this gives Richmond, though they asked for the measurement, it may just give them time also to get a unofficial timeout, you might say, to get this thing. A bit of a breather. Yeah. And they have a chance to.
Now, the thing here is if they do get this first down, that sets up obviously 1st and 10, but it is going to be about the 20-yard line. which will be good for Richmond because then you got 13 more seconds to get a little bit better field position. And then at some point, that's just a chip shot for Peterball.
Well, let's see if they'll give the Red Devils a first down right here, or will they go and have a 4th down and short? Of course, the players standing right in front of us, and we can't see it is a first down, so I'm glad they asked for the measurement. So Richmond again with the first down. It always pays to ask. Can't hurt anyway. So now.
Right there, I don't think Coach Lewis was looking for that first down, though. I think he was looking more towards the unofficial breather, like you said.
I think he will take both, and it again gives them a chance to set up maybe 1 or 2 plays out of that brief huddle they had on the sideline, so maybe they don't have to burn another timeout yet. They have 1 remaining. Zach takes a low snap, throws toward the end zone, and it is going to be a jump ball, and Trayshawn, 3 players around him, and that one is dropped as well, and it falls incomplete.
But also very, very close to being caught as well.
Boy, I'd love to see him get one of those. He's had a couple of those that have come down near catching position, you might say, and just cannot come up with it.
And Troy, real quick before they get this play off, the Mount Vernon-Greenwood game is all tied up at 7 at the half.
Tough one, too. Mount Vernon favored in that one. All right, big play here for the Red Devils. They're going to throw the in pattern. It's picked off. On the interception, that'll be Lowry, and Lowry on a return. Lowry into Richmond territory, finally brought down. The football comes loose. There's no time on the clock, so nothing here will hurt either team, but other than Richmond unable to come up with it, and an interception thrown, and we've made it to halftime, so the Red Devils come out with nothing right before the half, and the interception stops the drive, and Richmond unable to even get a field goal attempt as we now head to halftime on the Wesley Bates Wealth Management scoreboard. Again, that ball tipped and intercepted at the end of the first half. Mooresville 14, Richmond 7. The commissioner's report coming up in a few moments. We'll also have in just a little bit the Mental Attitude Award winner from high school tennis this year right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.
Meet Josh.
Hi, everybody.
Josh is a high school basketball player, solid shooter, great teammate.
Hey, don't forget my tenacious D.
And he's my son.
Oh.
So, what does Josh do to be the best basketball player he can be?
I play tennis.
Studies show that student athletes here in Indiana who play more than one high school sport are more likely to excel. Tennis does more than improve Josh's conditioning. It gives him a fresh competitive outlet, reduces the risk of injury by cross-training, and introduces him to different coaching techniques and new friends.
Don't get me wrong, hoops are my first love. Tennis just gives me a little break.
So when the new season begins, Josh isn't burned out on basketball. He's eager to play, and you can see the difference in his game.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
It was senior year and the whole school was cheering for her. And just seeing the smile on her face, people were crying and people were cheering. Seeing how the whole school came together just for her was the most amazing thing ever.
Special Olympics is acceptance.
Joy.
Respect. It made me feel better about myself, being around thousands of people just cheering me on, and it was a fun experience, trust me.
Special Olympics is about life and being accepted by everybody.
Special Olympics is health.
Education.
Sports. It's made me who I am today. It's made me more outgoing. It's made me just more of a genuine person.
When I got involved with Special Olympics, it kind of like brought me out of my shell.
And it's not about disabilities, but it's about celebrating their abilities.
When I was in 4th grade, my teacher told me she would never answer my questions because I had too many. and I was too dumb to understand the answers anyways. After joining Special Olympics, I know that's not the case. I am just as smart as anyone else.
It's helped me a lot to be fearless, in the real world.
Special Olympics is community.
Special Olympics is friendship.
My friends I've made through Special Olympics are the best people I've ever met in my life.
It had gave me a chance to meet new people from different states.
And you just gain an entire family of new friends.
Special Olympics is dignity.
Justice.
Empowerment.
I truly realize that what I'm doing is for a great cause.
I could spend all my time just working with Special Olympics, and I would love every second of it.
It makes you feel like a wonderful person, and your life changes forever.
I've made a difference. Now it's your turn to make a difference.
We are champions together.
Making a difference every day.
It's time for the Commissioner's Corner, an exclusive weekly update from the IHSAA Commissioner himself, Bobby Cox. Now for the inside scoop on what's happening day to day with the IHSAA. Here's Coach Bob Lovell with Commissioner Bobby Cox.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Bob Lovell. Our weekly conversation with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Bobby Cox, is upon us. Commissioner, glad to have you with us as always. I think we've said this now for at least a month, but it is a big weekend for the IHSAA and its student athletes. We have cross-country state finals in Terre Haute, soccer finals at IUPUI, semi-states at 4 sites in volleyball, and sectional semifinals in football. So, again, another very, very busy weekend.
It is, Bob, and it's a great weekend to be a high school fan again. As you've mentioned, every weekend's a busy weekend for our association, from the time the tournaments begin all the way through the football state finals at Lucas Oil. But this weekend, soccer on 2 days, Friday evening and all day Saturday at IUPUI, and want to thank our friends at IUPUI for their hosting of that event. The state cross-country finals for boys and girls are at the Laverne Gibson cross-country course in Terre Haute, and what a tremendous venue for our young people to run at, site of the NCAA championships multiple years. Volleyball's ramping up. We're at the semi-state level, 4 sites around the state, great host at each of those high schools. And then 6A football kicks off this weekend. And after that bye week, we've got 32 sectionals playing, and we've got our 16 sectionals playing with 32. We've got a lot going on.
We do have a lot going on, and we've had a lot going on. Dare I say, I look at the calendar, and next week we'll be getting into November, and I think we all know what November means. So
yes.
We have, as busy as we are now, it is equally busy toward the end of November with boys, girls basketball and the state finals in football.
That is correct. And, like I say, we have something going on every weekend. Next weekend we'll be in Muncie at Worthen Arena at Ball State University for the volleyball state championships, and sectional championships of football happen that weekend too. So 48 different sites playing for a championship. Toughest tournament we've got. We've always said that our football tournament's one of the hardest tournaments to win because of the length of the time it is and the weather that can confront you, and different styles of teams you play against. It's a tough tournament to win.
Commissioner Bobby Cox joining us. We're talking about all things IHSAA. You mentioned the sectionals in football, and you're right. As we progress, weather becomes a factor. I continually am amazed each weekend on Indiana Sports Talk when I see the prolific scoring that seems to be going on around our state. Our coaches and kids are putting up a lot of points on Friday nights.
They really are, Bob, and I attribute that to a couple different things. Years ago, there were only very limited times that our football coaches could work with our football players in the summer. And now there is an ample opportunity for our kids to play 7-on-7, which is an offensive game. And I think because of that exposure and the more opportunity to practice, passing routes and quarterbacks throwing the ball, that our offense has gotten better. They spread the field out. It becomes more difficult to defend. And I would say that our offense has surpassed our defense with respect to how the game's progressed in our state. And that's evident by the number of the number of large scores that we have. I counted up a couple weeks ago of about 150 games that we had. There were 49 games where the winning team scored over 50 points.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of scoring.
Yeah, similarly, on the other end, there you can count on one hand the number of games where both teams have single digits in terms of scoring. So, the extremes are really kind of stark. I don't know if this year's any different than any other year, but it just seems to be more noticeable now.
Well, and I think each year as our student athletes progress offensively in football, you see a little more scoring each year. And a greater range between the schools. There are a lot of blowouts. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have conversations with the Indiana Football Coach Association about a mercy rule. Because when you see scores that are coming up here 84-12,
right,
77-0, those games are not helping anybody. They're not helping either school, and they're actually hurting the game of football. So if we're going to be good stewards of the game, we need to do some things to protect it, and that's one of the things that we're going to have a deep discussion about is a mercy rule. And don't know what that's going to look like yet. It'll be some kind of point threshold, mm-hmm. and it'll be moved to a running clock when that threshold is reached. But don't know exactly what that's going to be. We want to get the input of our football coaches. But we need to do something to level these things out. And if we do have blowouts, we need to get the games over with. For a variety of reasons, and one of them not withstanding is injury.
Right.
We can't be putting young people out there that are being overmatched. And if you're down 70-0 at halftime, you're overmatched.
He's the commissioner of the IHSAA, Bobby Cox, our weekly conversation about all things IHSA sports related here in Indiana. Commissioner, it's always great to talk to you. Thanks so much. Have a great week.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
It's time for Beyond the Uniform, where we shine light on this week's IHSAA Mental Attitude Award winner. This student athlete has done an exceptional job demonstrating excellence, not just in their sport, but also in their school and their community. Now here's Coach Bob Lovell with this week's IHSAA Mental Attitude Award winner.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Bob Lovell, and this is one of the fun things of the job. You get a chance to talk to kids who've had great success on the fields and courts and IHSA state competition. We're pleased to be joined by the 2018 Boys Tennis Mental Attitude Award winner from Park Tudor High School, Aiden Harrison. Aiden, congratulations on this great honor.
Thank you so much.
You started playing tennis at what age? How old were you when you got the tennis bug?
I think I started when I was 5, and I didn't really start playing competitively until 7th grade. I think that's when I decided that tennis was going to be my sport.
What is it about tennis that makes you love what you do?
I think it's cool that you're out there by yourself and you get to control everything, even though sometimes that's hard. But I've learned a lot of important lessons from tennis over the years, and I think it'll help me in the future.
All right, in the tennis championship just concluded, you lost in the finals to a tremendous player, friend of yours from Carmel. And I'm sure, obviously, growing up, once you got into this, competing for a state championship was one of your goals, and you had a chance to do this.
Oh, yeah, it definitely was. Since I became one singles at Park Tudor my sophomore year, I always wanted to win state. During my sophomore year, I knew that'd be a bit of a challenge. And also last year with Patrick Fletchall being in the mix, he's such a good player, so I knew it'd be hard. But I thought this year I had a really good chance, and throughout the regular season I did really well. I only lost one time, so I felt confident going into the state tournament. And I didn't play my best in the finals, but I got outplayed by a really good player, so I'm fine with that.
So you're dealing with that, and then suddenly the name comes across the PA system naming you as the Mental Attitude Award winner. And here you are dealing with the emotions of losing, so you're at the lowest of lows and then the highest of highs. What was that like?
Well, I actually got the award during the team finals. So it was a week before the individual tournament. So funny story, I was watching it with my parents, and the match had ended. Carmel won 3-1, but there was still one individual match going on, and I told my parents, all right, I'm going home. The match is already over, and my dad's like, you don't go home yet. And I was like, how come?
Right.
And all he said was, I just want you to stay. And then I started putting it together that I must have won this award, which I'm really excited about.
Well, as you should be. I mean, think about it. All those years and all those tournaments and all those sacrifices you've made not only pay off with this prestigious award, but also gives you a chance to be recruited by colleges and a chance to make a choice to attend Middlebury College.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that have been given to you because of your success in tennis.
Yeah, and winning this award I think is really important for me because over the years my attitude hasn't always been amazing. You know, sometimes it's let me down in matches, and it's been the reason why I've lost matches. But I think, especially in the past couple of years, as I've had the best results in my tennis career, my attitude has been really important to that, and I think it's won me a lot of matches, and it's now a strength of mine, which is really great.
That's really well said. As I mentioned, you're headed to Middlebury College. Tell people where that is and why you made this choice. It's an outstanding school, a tremendous academic institution. What got you interested in Middlebury and made you finally make this decision?
Yeah, well, it's located in Vermont. It's pretty isolated, and there's not much around there, but I went and visited last winter, and the campus was really pretty. I really loved the coaches there, and the coach liked me a lot, so I thought we got a great relationship right from the start, and he stayed in contact with me we've been in contact since then and been talking a lot, which I think is good. I met the guys on the team. They seemed nice, and I just thought I'd fit in well when I visited, so.
Well, I think it's going to be something that is going to be perfect for both you and Middlebury College.
Yeah.
Aiden Harris, the Mental Attitude Award winner for tennis from Park Tudor High School. Aiden, congratulations again on the success on the tennis courts and off. You know, I was remiss in not saying, not only do you do those kinds of things on that, but you know, what got you involved in all these other things outside of tennis? I mean, you are, very active in the Down syndrome tennis program. You've worked with the local food pantry, television program to create stories about Park Tudor. You're a cum laude commandee in the 9th through 11th grade, academic distinction, nominated All-State. How do you have time to do all of these things and do them so well?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard, but I definitely am very motivated academically. I want to do the best. That's another reason why I chose Middlebury, because it is such an academic school. And also the Down syndrome tennis is something that's really cool. It's every Sunday for an hour, and you just get to work with these kids, and it just puts a smile on your face. So I think it's really awesome.
I think it's awesome, too. Aiden, congratulations again. Aiden Harris, the Mental Attitude Award winner in tennis from Park Tudor. Best of luck.
All right, thanks so much.
Honey, isn't it amazing?
What?
The sacrifice, the dedication, the grit. I mean, they really set an example, don't they?
Oh, well, no question. Today's high school athletes are truly special.
Not the athletes.
Well, who?
The officials.
Oh.
Today's student athletes are truly special. But there's something pretty great about the men and women who officiate their games, too. Like the way they're giving back to their communities. Officiating is a terrific way to stay in shape, meet new people, and stay connected to the game you love. But the biggest reason of all? We need more qualified high school officials here in Indiana. And without them, the rest of us would have a whole lot less to cheer about. High school games need officials. High school sports need you.
Great call, Ralph!
Yeah!
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
The Indiana Football Hall of Fame in Richmond, Indiana was founded in 1973. Its mission is to honor the men and women who have excelled in high school, college, or professional football based on their coaching, athletic ability, citizenship, scholarship, and significant supporting contributions to the game of football. The Indiana Football Hall of Fame includes retrospection from Indiana's prestigious football history, from the late 1800s to the present. When you visit the hall, you'll see the names like Weeview Bank, Vegas Ferguson, Newt Rockne, and Lamar Lundy. The Indiana Football Hall of Fame is located at 815 North A Street in Richmond and is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. There is no entrance fee and donations are appreciated. Take time to visit Indiana football history at the Indiana Football Hall of Fame. We're back once again here at Leibold Field in Richmond. Great to have you with us as the Red Devils staying close here as we get ready for the third quarter. 14-7 as Richmond with that huge interception, and of course the return got them inside the 10-yard line, and they put points on the board for the first time here tonight. After that huge interception, Richmond had a chance to perhaps get some more points on the board, drove the ball into Mooresville territory, and then threw the interception themselves that ended the first half of play. And so the Pioneers will get the football first to begin this third quarter. Great to have you with us here tonight. The winner, of course, advancing to the championship next week. The loser will pack up their stuff and think about next year. Of course, we have basketball right around the corner as well, as both the boys and girls high school basketball seasons will begin within the next couple of weeks. In fact, the girls begin next week, and then the boys 2 weeks following that will have action from basketball as well right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports. So, Red Devils will tee it up at the 40. That is Pewterbaugh once again, and the Red Devils will have the elements behind them again here in the third quarter. Deep again for Mooresville. One of those will be Eisman. The other one will be Dane Stevenson, just a sophomore, but Eisman's the one guy that the Red Devils do not want to see get it into his hands, and the kick will go to the far side to Stevenson. Stevenson has blockers ahead of him, jumps over one tackler, still on his feet up the right sideline, and then brought down at around the 45 there for Richmond on the stop. Quavion Allen on special teams. So good field position here for the Pioneers. Will officially mark it down again at the 47-yard line. By the way, this is still a Mooresville football team playing without their best running back in James Mabry. Out of the lineup here tonight. First down and 10. Goodman again with two receivers split wide to the left, hash mark to the right. Hand off to Green. Green will take the short side, gets by another defender, takes it up the right sideline, and gets another nice gain. He was able to get by Quavion Allen, who appeared to have him at least stop for no gain. It'll be a first down run once again for Brecken Green. Green is just a sophomore, 5'5", 155 pounds, but he runs as hard as anybody you'll see for his size. Goodman under center once again, looks to throw it to his left, and the ball's going to be caught. Einman on the reception, and the 6'4" receiver able to take the defender inside the 30 down to near the 29-yard line. On the stop for the Red Devils, Jewel Taylor there for Richmond, and also on this near side was Eli Irvin. So first down and 10. We're just underway here in the third. Mooresville with the football first time here in the third quarter. And an H-back lined up to the left. He'll be in motion and reset to the right side. Hand off to Green. Green over the right side, and a gain inside the 25, maybe 24-yard line there for Richmond on the stop. Jake Haynes once again. Haynes leading this Richmond team in tackles, coming in at over 7 tackles per game and 3 sacks. He has 5 tackles for loss on the season, and he is just a freshman. 3 wide, 2 to the left. Green the lone setback, H-back to the right, single receiver to the right as well. Goodman turns, hands off Green. Green ends up running right into the back of his own offensive lineman. Alex LaPlante at 290 pounds. And, boy, they do have a very big offensive line, 288, 295, 290. A lot of big horses up front for the Pioneers. 10:22 remaining, and it'll be third down and a long 4 now for the Pioneers. Kyler Evans split wide to the right. 2 receivers, including Einman, to the left. And now they'll take one of those receivers and set him in close. That'll be Braden Evans. Goodman to throw. Ball caught, far side. And Richmond trying to strip the football, and they're going to get it down to about the 10-yard line. On the reception again was Kyler Evans, and that'll be another first down. So now the Pioneers moving the football and doing it effectively in their first possession here of this third quarter. Goodman again under center, and he will have a stacked receiver set to the right side, and moving his H-back to the right, it'll be Green over that right side. Good blocking ahead and into the end zone for the touchdown. And just like that, the Pioneers put 6 on the board and lead this one now 20-7. That's a very impressive opening drive for the Pioneers here in this third quarter. So here is Swigert in to attempt the extra point, and the kick is going to be blocked at the line of scrimmage. Someone got a hand on it, but it was good enough to get across for the extra point and on the Wesley Bates Wealth Management scoreboard. Here in the third with 9:32 remaining, Red Devils trail at 21-7.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Indiana, who do you meet? When you're working for a mover and shaker with strong ties to our community, who are they? When you encounter a group of people eager to roll up their sleeves, who are you most likely to work with? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Taking the initiative, being a good teammate, sacrificing personal glory for the greater good. These are qualities we expect of our leaders, and they're all being cultivated in the high schools right here in Indiana. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Well, Richmond will get the football first time here in the second half, and Trayshawn Jones waiting for this one at the 10. Jones at the 20 to the outside, 25 near the 29-yard line. And that's where the Red Devils have it first down and 10. So let's see how the Red Devils will react after Mooresville marched down the field and gets the score here in the third. You mentioned the crowd good here tonight for Mooresville. Richmond faithful here tonight, sitting through the consistent rain we've had throughout the evening. Zach Hill again out of the pistol. That is Holguin in motion. Holguin around the right side, and he will get stuck after maybe a yard gain. Nothing much there. And boy, talk about a guy who's been active. 32, Camden Schmidt. One of those talented inside linebackers, again, for Mooresville to make the stop. The Red Devils still trying to establish the ground attack here in the third. Snedeker split wide to the left, Holguin in the slot to the left. Trayshawn Jones, the lone receiver to the near side. Here is Wyatt over the left side. Wyatt, nice gain to about the 37. Short of the first down, and it'll be third down now for Richmond. Wyatt had that huge game last week in which he ran for 217 yards. He averaged 6.6 yards per carry. 33 carries against Connorsville. Zach will now shift. That is Bryce Brown to his left. Handoff. Bird, first down and more up the middle. He's at the 45, finally brought down And around the 40-yard line, another nice run for Wyatt Bird. Tackled eventually by Braden Evans. And that shows you how quickly Wyatt can get into that second and third level. 8:07 remaining in the third. That offensive line able to open up a hole up the middle. Sam Gamboa, Blaine Pierce, two of those on that middle to the right side. Here is Wyatt again, and Wyatt will get hogtied by big 71. Van Deventer, he goes 6'6", 288. That'll be a gain of about 3 on that carry, so it'll be second down, and let's call it 7 for Richmond. And the ball will be placed at the 37-yard line. Richmond's first possession here in the third. Two receivers split to the left, and that'll be Bryce Brown as the H-back. Handoff, Bird up the middle again, puts his head down. Be shy of the first down, tackled by Hayden Vaughn. Well, Richmond really trying to keep that running game going and pound it right at Mooresville here in the third quarter, and it helps having Bryce Brown as a very good blocking H-back. Red Devils again will go 2 to the left. Handoff. Here is Wyatt up the middle, and he's going to get another first down inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line. So Richmond moving the chains on the ground here with Wyatt Bird once again, the workhorse. 6:45 to go. Red Devils pretty much working with one tight end or H-back. That is Bryce Brown. And Wyatt turns, and he just got grabbed and pulled back by big 71, Van Deventer, the 6'4", 288 defensive lineman, just a sophomore. That is a big body, and Wyatt Bird brought back and set down for a 1-yard loss. It'll be second down and 11. Boy, Mooresville got some big old bodies up front on this defensive line as well. Red Devils again out of the pistol, handoff to Bird. He got stuck again. Red Devils are going to do something here eventually outside running the football as they got stuck as Braden Evans comes up to make the stop right at the 30-yard line. They'll lose a yard out of that one, so now we're looking at third down at about 12. Clock at 5:37. Wind is behind the Red Devils. I'd be curious to see if maybe they might not try to go to Holguin or Trayshawn Jones once again. In this situation, they'll have to get inside the 20 for the first down. Two receivers to the left. Football in the middle of the field. Looking to his right. Ball in the air, and it's almost picked off again. It was intended for Trayshawn Jones. He draws double coverage again, and one of those there was Gavin Evans. Evans at 6'2", 192 pounds. Able to make sure that Trayshawn doesn't make the catch. Trayshawn along with Holguin both coming in with 30 receptions on the season. Stops the clock at 5:15 to go here in this third quarter. Now Trayshawn is going to go to the left as Richmond will go trips left. Big fourth down here, 4th down and 12 for the Red Devils. Zach will set up the screen pass to Holguin. Holguin breaks a tackle, still on his feet, but I think he's going to be shy. He will be well shy of a first down. Had to get inside the 20. He'll get stopped at the 22-yard line, and Richmond will get stopped right there, shy of a first down, and give it up on downs. But perhaps for Richmond, just as good as punting the football, will place the Pioneers inside the 25, and so another opportunity here for the Pioneers, leading this one 21-7. Green again, the lone setback. Two wide outs to each side. Ball right in the middle of the field here, and they hand off around the right side. It'll be Evans. Evans finding running room up the right sideline. Cuts back at the 40. Still on his feet. Stiffs arms a defender at the 40, the 30, the 20, 10, 5, and touchdown. 77 yards in the score. And Richmond, after giving up the football, gives up the huge play to set things up again for the Pioneers for the long score, and Braden Evans from 77 yards, and it's now 27-7. Well, that is a momentum killer right there for Richmond. So now the extra point attempt. Kick is on the way, high in the air, and it is good. On the Wesley Bates Wealth Management scoreboard. 2 straight scores here in the third, and the Red Devils down 28-7.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.
It's the accountants and salesmen who give up their Friday evenings to referee.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
What makes high school sports here in Indiana so special? They do. You do.
We all do.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Well, now we'll see how the Red Devils will respond after giving up 2 straight scores. The first one, the nice, consistent drive put together by the Pioneers, and then with the first play of their second possession, Braden Evans with a 77-yard score. Now Richmond in a huge hole at 28-7 here at home. Well, that can be a backbreaker if Richmond is unable to do anything here pretty quick on offense. They're going to have to start putting the ball in the air here relatively soon to try to get back into this one, as that kick is going to be driven to the near side and goes out of bounds, and the flag will come down. If Richmond loses this one tonight, which again, now you're down by 3 scores, they'll finish their season at 2-9, and then Coach Lewis will think about how he's going to rebuild this whole thing again for next year. As they'll bring him back and set it up at the 35-yard line and make Swiger kick it again. Swiger, pretty good leg. Boy, he had a good first half, putting that ball in the end zone, not giving the Red Devils much of a chance to return. Here's a line drive kick. That bounces high, and Trayshawn able to pick it up, gets to the 30 and brought down at about the 31-yard line, and that's where Richmond will take over first and 10. We mentioned there's a couple of other area teams playing tonight. One of those Northeastern on the road to LaPel, and of course, I'm no doubt about it, Hagerstown will win their long road trip tonight, as they had to make that trip to Edinburgh. We'll get some scores. We'll try to pass those along to you tonight as well. Richmond again trips to the left. Handoff, it'll be Wyatt again. He's not going to get much, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Adrian Diop there, the inside linebacker at 5'9", 185 pounds, to help make the stop, and the Red Devils now faced with a 2nd down and 10. By the way, Hagerstown at one point is up on, in their game, just 12-6. That's over the outstretched arms of Trayshawn Jones, and he might have hurt his left shoulder there. He came down a little shaken up, and he's coming out of the lineup. Boy, Hagerstown only up again 12-6 in their contest at the last score we had there. That's a huge game right there for Edinburgh if they can keep the Tigers within scoring distance. Again, out of the pistol, throw over the middle, ball caught Holguin at the 40 and a little closer to the 39-yard line before he's brought down. So Holguin at the 39-yard line, and the Red Devils now faced with a 4th down and 2. By the way, it's still a 12-6 game halftime between Edinburgh and Hagerstown. Here's a huge play for Richmond. Need to get a first down right here. They're going to go for it. Again, out of the pistol, handoff to Wyatt, and he's not going to get it. Red Devils tried to run it up the middle, and they got nowhere. That's a good defensive stand for Mooresville. Dominic Oldham was one of the first ones in there, the defensive lineman at 6 foot, 210 pounds. And Richmond at fourth down gambling here in the third quarter, and now that'll give Mooresville pretty good field position at the Richmond 39-yard line. 3:40 remaining here in the third. Mooresville scoring the first two times they've had the football, one on a sustained drive, the other one on the 77-yard run by Braden Evans, and now the Red Devils down by 3 scores. And now Mooresville with the football again as they're starting to impose their will on the Red Devils. Goodman will throw near side. Einman is there. The ball thrown behind him. Einman still makes the catch, still on his feet as he cuts back to the middle of the field. And finally he will be brought down very close to the 14-yard line. Not a great throw by Goodman, but Einman, the very talented receiver, able to come back and make the catch. And once again, Mooresville, another big play to set him up at the 14-yard line. 3 minutes, 18 seconds remaining here in the third. Green, the lone setback. The H-back again will be Evans. And Goodman to throw. Einman is there. Ball is in the air, and it's thrown a little bit behind him and to his right. Holguin is there on defense for the Red Devils to knock that one away. It'll be an incomplete pass. So Goodman and Einman unable to connect. And that'll fall incomplete. We'll put the football again just inside the 15-yard line. It'll be second down and 10. 3:03 to go here in the third. Green again, the lone setback. 2 receivers stacked to the right. Here's Goodman. They'll throw it out to Einman. Einman makes the catch, and he's going to get a couple of yards out of this one as Trayshawn Jones still hurting. His left shoulder is hurt. He's unable to even grab anyone. Holguin is there. Bryce Brown is there for the Red Devils. And now we're looking at third down. Football at about the 11-yard line. Clock continues to tick here in the third. Red Devils down 28-7. Green, the lone setback. Einman lined up to the right. He has one-on-one coverage, but a safety, Holguin, is awaiting him as well. Here's Green. Green up the middle, breaks tackles, gets into the end zone for the touchdown. 3 straight scores now for Mooresville, and they are in the driver's seat big time. A touchdown run of 11 yards, and Richmond trails it 34-7. Now 20 straight points put on the board for the Pioneers. They've had 3 possessions and 3 scores here in the third. So here is Swigert again for the extra point. A good snap. The kick is on the way, and it is good. On the Wesley Bates Wealth Management scoreboard, Mooresville 35, Richmond 7. This is Richmond football and Radio Troy Digital Sports.
Hey, honey, is this your course schedule for the fall?
Yep.
Let me see here. English, good. Chemistry, trigonometry, excellent. World history, I love world history. Baseball? Wait, baseball? Baseball isn't a course, honey.
Well, sure it is, Mom. High school sports are about so much more than winning and losing. They teach lessons that can't be taught in a classroom, like accountability and self-discipline, the value of teamwork. I may not be earning a grade, but I'm learning how to compete later in life. Isn't that what getting a good education is all about?
Yes, of course it is. I was just testing you.
What can teenagers here in Indiana learn from participating in high school sports? Plenty, as it turns out. That's why they're called education-based athletics.
High school sports. They're so much more than just a game.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
2:11 remaining in this one in the third quarter. By the way, LaPel is now trailing Northeastern 8-0 in the third quarter. So the Knights trying to advance to a possible sectional championship next week. And again, a long and deep kick here for Trayshawn at the 5. Now he's going to lateral back to Holguin, and Holguin is going to lose yardage to the 10. So Richmond trying a little trickery, and it didn't work on special teams, and they'll be deeper in their own territory with 1:59 remaining. So both Northeastern and Hagerstown winning their contests as we speak, and again, both trying to advance to championship game coming up next week. Of course, we'll have all the scores for you from around the state coming up either later tonight or tomorrow on the sports page. Wyatt will be the lone running back as always in the backfield as Zach will take the snap, the option, and the pitch. Fumbles it. Ball is loose. Bird jumps on it, and that'll be a loss back to about the 6-yard line. Well, the game momentum has changed dramatically here in the third quarter. It's all Mooresville, and Richmond again unable to capitalize at the end of the second quarter to get points on the board, and ever since then it has been all Pioneers here in this third. Red Devils again deep at the 6-yard line. Out of the pistol, handoff, it'll be wide over the right side, big hole, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and he's got great speed. He may score. He's at the 30, the 20, the 10, 5, touchdown, Wyatt Bird. Wow. 94 yards in the score for Wyatt Bird, and the nice thing was there are no flags down. Richmond getting back in as we have now seen both teams getting scores here in the third quarter. Pewterball in for the extra point. High snap, the kick is on the way, and the kick is good. Wyatt Bird doing it again. 4 touchdowns last week. Gets another score right there, and the Red Devils trail at 35-14 on the Wesley Bates Wealth Management scoreboard.
The debate about sports specialization by high school athletes continues. Some argue that high school athletes who play one sport all year long have a better chance of landing a lucrative pro contract. But that's simply not true. In fact, 30 of the 32 first-round picks in last year's NFL draft played more than one sport in high school. Of the 32 players drafted, 22 also participated in high school track and field. 19 also played basketball. Some also played baseball and lacrosse. What's the path to success for high school athletes here in Indiana, no matter what their goals might be? Study hard. Always do your best. And if you can, play more than one sport in high school. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Well, the Wyatt Bird touchdown run giving the Red Devils some life here in the third quarter after Mooresville scored the first 21 points. Red Devils come back, now trail at 35-14. Onside kick and picked up by the Pioneers. Here is Gavin Evans. Evans near side and will finally be driven out of bounds. And he got a pretty nice return off of the onside kick. And good field position again for the Pioneers. The other thing, we had some penalties early in this game. It has been a very clean game from about the middle of the first quarter on. Rain has kind of subsided here in the third quarter as the Pioneers are ready to go to work once again with 56.2 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Here's the pitch. 40. Out to the outside, 35-30, and Richmond not doing a very good job tackling is Cade Napier. Cade Napier, the 5'8", 158-pound sophomore on the carry. And now we're down to 43 seconds. Final play, perhaps, of this third quarter. Fake the handoff. Goodman sidesteps a defender. That's Jacob Jones. Goodman throws, and it's going to be dropped. Good coverage by Holguin. Pass intended for Heineman. 17.9. Now second down and 10. Again, football placed at the 27-yard line. Goodman once again will survey the defense. Napier on the carry. He's going to be stuck immediately. Coming in to make the stop for the Red Devils, Jake Haynes. And that's going to do it for this third quarter. A lot of points put on the board here in the third. The Red Devils able to get the nice touchdown run, and that's going to do it for the third period of play. We will come back with the fourth period as on the Wesley Bates Wealth Management scoreboard, Red Devils trail at 35-14.
Hey, honey, is this your course schedule for the fall?
Yep.
Let me see here. English, good. Chemistry, trigonometry, excellent. World history, I love world history. Baseball? Wait, baseball? Baseball isn't a course, honey.
Well, sure it is, Mom. High school sports are about so much more than winning and losing. They teach lessons that can't be taught in a classroom, like accountability and self-discipline, the value of teamwork. I may not be earning a grade, but I'm learning how to compete later in life. Isn't that what getting a good education is all about?
Yes, of course it is. I was just testing you.
What can teenagers here in Indiana learn from participating in high school sports? Plenty, as it turns out. That's why they're called education-based athletics.
High school sports. There's so much more than just a game.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Well, 12 more minutes for the Red Devils as they trail at 35-14, and Mooresville again with the football at the 27-yard line. It'll be third down and 10. Goodman will have two receivers to the near side. Football just outside the hash mark. Goodman rolling. Goodman looking, throwing to the sideline, and that's well short of his intended receiver as that falls incomplete. Austin Gage trying to go down to get that one, and it'll be fourth down. Kind of odd play calling over the last couple of series here for the Pioneers. They have brought in a different running back. Green is out. Not sure if he's hurt or not, but he is out of the lineup. Heineman still in to the near side. Of course, Red Devils will stay double coverage, one over the top, and that includes Holguin. And they'll fake the handoff, and again rolling and throwing. Ball's going to be caught wide open inside the 20 and then driven out of bounds. That'll be a first down. Trayshawn Jones will get the stop as Braden Evans makes the catch. And first down again for the Pioneers. So now you're looking at first and goal. The football just inside the 10-yard line. We'll put it at the 9. Goodman again. Two receivers to the right. Hash mark set to the left. They'll work short side. Napier up the left sideline into the end zone, 9 yards, and that was about as easy of a score as you're going to get right there as the Pioneers come back, their fourth score of the second half, and lead this one now 41-14. They have scored on every possession they have had here in the second half of play. So now the extra point attempt by Swigert. And we've got a penalty flag right here as that'll stop that extra point attempt. So now the penalty against the Red Devils will probably put that on the ensuing kickoff. So we'll try it one more time as Swigert's kick high in the air. Very good leg, and the extra point is good on the Wesley Bates. 11:38 remaining. The Wesley Bates scoreboard. Red Devils trail this one 41-42-14.
It's the geometry teacher who mans the ticket window.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.
It's the accountants and salesmen and store managers who give up their Friday evenings to referee.
It's the graduate who listens to the league championship game on the internet.
It's the parent who sells ads in the school athletic program.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
It's the trainers, equipment managers, and ball boys who never miss a practice.
What makes high school sports here in Indiana so special? They do.
You do.
We all do.
High school sports. It's the we that every community needs. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Swigert sends that one into the ozone layer as it will go out of the end zone, and the Red Devils have the football 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line with 11:38 remaining in this one. It was 14-7 at halftime, and then Mooresville scored on their first 3 possessions, including that huge run by Braden Evans. We've seen 2 nice long runs on each side of the football. One of those, of course, by Wyatt Bird, who could be nearing 1,000 yards on the season. That ball caught by Holguin on the sideline. He will stay in bounds and finally gang tackled on the sideline. So Holguin makes the reception. He'll be tackled by 32 Schmidt. Holguin's going to get about 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Clock stopped at 11:29. Wyatt again, the workhorse. They'll fake the handoff to Bird. They'll throw. Ball caught. Trayshawn over the middle gets the reception at the 37. Trayshawn able to make the catch even with that shoulder smarting. He hurt that left shoulder at some point in the third quarter. And he stays in the ball game, and he's going to tough it out the rest of this one in a 1st down for the Red Devils. And they may have to do more of that here as they trail it big again in the fourth quarter. Rolling, throwing, and out of the reach of Holguin. That'll be an incomplete pass. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Well, the seniors on this football team may be playing their final as players like Bryce Brown, Holguin, Trayshawn Jones. Mentioned, of course, Snediger, who was the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year, trips now to the near side. And that'll be the short side. And the handoff will be Wyatt, and Wyatt diving ahead somehow always manages to get a couple of extra yards. And he'll get just across the 40, and they'll place it back right at the 40. So it'll be 3rd down and about 5. We mentioned, of course, with the other seniors on this team, there aren't very many of them. Jacob Jones, who we talked to this week, as he is a senior, starting over the last 3 seasons, either on the offensive line or the defensive line. Hill to throw. Ball caught Holguin at the 50. Holguin, 45-40. Holguin's going to score again. Holguin at the 10, the 5, touchdown Richmond. Well, we mentioned that in the pregame that one of the playmakers you would have to get the football to would be Julian Holguin. And he scored on a big touchdown pass last week, does it again here tonight, and the Red Devils now trail it by 22. So here is Puterbaugh for the extra point. 10:19 remaining, and the kick is on the way, and it is good. On the Wesley Bates Wealth Management scoreboard, Red Devils now trail this one 42-21 here in the fourth.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Indiana. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It begins by making their grades and being on time for practice. It includes learning to listen, following directions, accepting responsibility, being a good role model. And it's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. High school sports. There's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
10:19 remaining. Red Devils coming up with a couple of big scores here in the second half. Unfortunately, they still trail it by 3 scores. And now Puterbaugh will line this one up at the 40. Mooresville anticipating an onside kick once again as they have 10 of their 11 players up at around the 50-yard line and inside the 40s. That will be covered up quickly by that special teams unit. 82 coming up with that loose football. Logan Jackson, just a freshman at 6'3", 175 pounds. And so the Pioneers will have very good field position just shy of the 42. Time is not on Richmond's side, though. Still 10:16 remaining. Heineman, one of the 2 receivers to the near sideline. Staying in the ball game will be Napier, the running back, and they'll throw. Ball in the air. Heineman is there, and it's overthrown, and Holguin there on coverage. He had Heineman step for step on the coverage. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Red Devils again are playing Holguin on the coverage, and the free safety there for the Red Devils is Trayshawn Jones. Heineman hasn't really hurt the Red Devils too much here tonight. He was a huge threat coming in at 6'2" and 194 pounds. Goodman again looking to throw, setting up the screen pass over the middle. It's going to be dropped. Intended for number 18, Dan Swindle, the junior. And it's going to be 3rd down now for the Pioneers. .10:03 remaining. Well, you never know. Richmond gets it back, gets a quick score, could make it 42-28, and things might get interesting. Napier, though, a nice run and a 1st down. Boy, Richmond needed to stop right there. Napier dropped by Jewel Taylor. Also in there for the Red Devils, LaMarcus Thompson, but not before Napier gets a 1st down to the 45. That's a huge 1st down once again for Mooresville as they continue to run the football effectively. First it was Green and Napier. Mooresville just over 9 minutes from moving on to a sectional. Richmond was showing blitz, and there is a penalty flag. So instead of 1st and 10, it'll be 1st and 5. Red Devils just trying to get a head start in that middle of the defense. I'm not sure who it was. I don't think it was Bryce Brown. It might have been Branton Thomas who was looking to get a good jump on the snap. Napier again. And Napier down just outside the 35-yard line. And we're down to 9:06. Second down and 1. Goodman will take the snap. Napier to the outside. First down. Cut back at the 30. 25-20. Still on his feet. Richmond finally gets him down inside the 15-yard line. Jewel Taylor there for the Red Devils. Haynes there as well, but not before Napier gets another nice run. Wyatt Bird will come in on defense now for the Red Devils as Jewel Taylor will come out. Red Devils play so many players both ways, just no depth on this football team, hoping that that'll change in the next couple of seasons as they continue to try to get more players out for football. Here's a handoff and a halfback pass into the end zone. Einman hauls it in. No. That one dropped. 8:09 to go. On the pass play was Blake Garrett. 248-pound H-back. They list him as a tight end, and the Mooresville crowd thought they had a touchdown, but Einman unable to hold on to the football. It'll be second down and 10. Garrett is a bowling ball at 5'8", 248. So now second down and 10. Pioneers with Goodman will put a man in motion. Hand off, Napier. Napier, the cutback again, and Richmond will bring him down shy of the 10-yard line. That was LaMarcus Thompson there on the stop for Richmond. And we're going to call it third down and 7. It'll be Austin Gage split wide to the left. 2 receivers, including Einman. I'm sure they'd love to get him a score here tonight. Setting up tight now will be Swindle, who started out wide. Einman. Ball caught by Einman at the 5 and gets into the end zone for the touchdown. And we just said his name a little bit ago. They were trying to get him a score, and they do. And it's now 48-21. It's 7:20 to go here in the fourth. Well, that one was pretty easy to figure out. They wanted to get Einman on the board here in this one tonight. Had a couple of scores last week as now the extra point attempt. Swigert back in. The extra point is going to be no good as the quarterback Goodman fumbles the football. And no extra point on this one for the kicker Swigert. We will take a quick timeout on the Wesley Bates Wealth Management scoreboard. Red Devils trail at 48-21.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor.
It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
48-21 back here at Leibold Field. 7:20 remaining here in the fourth. Red Devils will see their season come to an end here tonight. And then we're going to put our focus on basketball coming up next, which again, both boys and girls action this season. By the way, an update in college football tonight. We'll get you an update on that IU game. There's a top 25 game that'll be going on tonight as well. That game won't kick off till about 10:30 this evening. As this one is Kicked deep and fumbled inside the 20. And again, Richmond making a huge mistake, and Trayshawn gets buried again. That young man's taking a beating tonight, as we talked about his shoulder being hurt, and he just continues to battle away. And not sure at some point if maybe it might be worth getting him out of the ball game at this stage. Get you an update again. IU in action tonight. They're in the second quarter, and Indiana leading Minnesota 9-7. One other game of interest, Boston College leading Miami of Florida at halftime 17-14. Here's Wyatt at the 20, still on his feet, out of bounds here on the near side, very close to the 26-yard line, maybe 27. Wyatt may be getting close to 33 carries of what he had last week. Wyatt over 200 yards in last week's game. 7:06 remaining. Out of the pistol again, Wyatt got hit immediately and driven back. The first one to hit him was Adrian Diop. They'll call it no gain, and the Red Devils now with a second down. By the way, there are volleyball matchups tomorrow. There's also cross country tomorrow. And boys soccer and girls soccer tomorrow as well over the middle. That's incomplete, intended for Holguin.
I'm Adam, and I'm...
So it'll be third down and 10. .6:28 remaining, and the big third down right here for Richmond. Especially when you consider this might be their last opportunity to get something on offense, though it's going to be a huge task. Here's a little screen pass over the middle, and I'm not sure who it was intended to. Must have been Holguin, but it falls incomplete. It'll be fourth down. This will be pretty much it right here for the Red Devils, as they will either make or break this one at this point. But again, still a long way to go when you consider 6 minutes remaining. You're down 48-21. This one's pretty much in the bag, but Red Devils with a pitch and a halfback throw by Wyatt. Has a strong arm, and in and out of the hands of Trayshawn Jones, unable to make the catch. Wyatt Hunter there, the defensive back, to knock it down, and the Red Devils give up the football on downs, and that'll be pretty much it. If they get the ball back, there really won't be much they can do, as you know that Mooresville will just run time off the clock right here. .6:14 remaining, and looks like we'll have a new quarterback as well, as Elijah Perry will come in, 6'3" and 220 pounds. Looks like your backup quarterback to be 6'3", 220. New running back in the ball game as well. That's number 35, Gideon Brimage. Gideon is only a freshman, 5'8" and 140 pounds. So Mooresville emptying their bench a little bit here in the fourth quarter. It'll be second down at about 4. Mooresville maybe getting a chance to get one more score on the board with a lot of the youngsters in the lineup now. In fact, looks like they've replaced just about everybody. There's a nice run again up the middle inside the 20. That'll be Brimage once again. Number 18 stays in. That is Dan Swindle. And Swindle joined in the receiving corps by Wyatt Kitterman. Kitterman is a senior. And the whole offensive line is brand new. And now checking into the lineup will be 22, which is Nicholas Gregory. 5'10", 200-pound running back who has Now the backfield for Mooresville, the keeper by the quarterback. He'll get inside the 15. That'll be a first down as Perry able to lean ahead and get the first down. We're under 5 minutes remaining. So Richmond's season will end here tonight. 2 wins this year. They were winless a year ago. And for the head coach and his staff, they'll get right to work, I'm sure, as they try to even think about what's coming up next year. Perry will hand off, and he'll be throwing for a loss. Brenton Thomas in there to get the stop on Brimage. And this not only means of course, for this high school football team, but their middle school and their youth programs that they really worked very hard on, now trying to rebuild from the bottom up. 4 minutes remaining. It'll be second down and long for Mooresville. Perry this time will work out of the shotgun. Here come the Red Devils, and Perry's going to keep it himself, get dropped, and there's Brandon Thomas again. So Brandon will get the sack. And we're coming up on 3.5 minutes, and it'll be third down and long. They can still get a first down inside the 5 at around the 4-yard line. And now 3:19 remaining here in the fourth. 2 receivers to the near side, an H-back lined up to the right. And Perry again will work out of the shotgun. He'll throw short, and falling after making the catch is Brimage. Now the good news there, keeps the clock running on fourth down. He may just try a field goal right here, and I guarantee this young man has a strong enough leg to hit this one. Swigert has got the wind behind him, and this will be a 40-yarder. All comes down to the wind, but again, it will be right behind him if they can get a good snap off on this one. They have every opportunity, as Swigert is a really strong leg, but a snap again dropped by the quarterback Goodman, and then throws the interception. Here, Red Devils get the turnover. That'll be Eli Irvin. So Goodman, just the holder, throws an interception. Not as the quarterback, but as the holder. 2:19 remaining. Goodman had dropped one earlier. So instead of a 40-yard attempt, it ends up being an interception. Red Devils' second interception of the night. And now the offense back out for Richmond. Here's the keeper.
Go, Zach, go!
Zach around the right side, and he will be brought down at around the 35. Again, there are all kinds of new faces in there on defense for Mooresville. Look like 37, Augie Newkirk was able to make the stop. It'll be second down and 2. Snedeker, one of the 3 receivers to the near side. Trayshawn Jones stays in, trips to the left. Handoff Wyatt. Wyatt at the 40, 41, and then driven back. Hayden Vaughn there to make the stop. Now Richmond picks up a sectional win last week, 14-7 at halftime here tonight. Had a chance to tie it up right before the end of the first half through the interception, and then Mooresville scored on their first 4 possessions of the second half. Here's the pitch to Wyatt, 45, brought down at the 47. On the stop is Newkirk again, and Richmond's going to call a timeout. 1:18 remaining. We will be out of here pretty quick on this one this evening. You can again follow all your sports coverage on RadioTroy.com. We'll have all the scores from high school football again here tonight. Northeastern was still leading Lapel on the last check that we had. So Hagerstown was winning, Northeastern was winning. After the timeout, here come the Red Devils back again on offense. By the way, Union City leading their contest 31-0. 1:18 remaining here. Ball to Holguin, drops it at the 45. Lapel was now leading Northeastern in the fourth quarter, 11-8. So I'm not sure if that's a final yet or not, but that's the latest score there as Northeastern had led that contest pretty much throughout the evening. Lafayette Jeff leading Noblesville 28-24 as the ball is going to be snapped and fumbled by Zach back to the 35. Clock is under 1 minute remaining here. I was going to try to at least get one more update on any of those games played earlier tonight. But again, we'll try to update you again later on RadioTroy.com. Is Zach looking? Here comes the rush from behind, and he's going to get dropped, fumbles the football, and it'll be jumped on by Richmond as Jackson Haynes there to jump on top of it. 27.5, it didn't matter, it was fourth down, and Richmond ain't able to get anything again offensively, so we are just 27.5 seconds away from putting this one in the books here tonight. Good effort by Richmond, heavy underdogs coming in, again a 14-7 deficit at halftime, but it was all Mooresville in the second half. A couple of bright spots for the Red Devils, but just not enough on either side of the football. Mooresville had one too many players in there. They'll just kneel down, and we can put a final on this one. Your final score on the Wesley Bates Wealth Management scoreboard. Mooresville will move on and play for a sectional championship next week as they defeat the Red Devils 48-21. Thanks for being with us. This has been Red Devils Football and Radio Troy Digital Sports.